All right, so I'm back again. I don't know what happened. Um, something must have happened. So yeah, so we will continue. Today we are going to hit 5,000 subscribers. How many subscribers do I have now? Let me just check. Um, Let me just check. Hey, we're not doing good. We're still on 9,006, 4,960. I don't know the actual number, but we around 4,960. Yeah, so we still got a little bit of a long way to go. We have got about less than 40 people for us to reach 5,000 subscribers. Yeah, so I was talking about my life. I was talking about the children, the youth of today. It is very, very sad what's going on, because like for example, like for me, I've always wanted to be a good role model to my children. I've always wanted to be a good father, and my children can never lie that they had a father who always slept out of the home. Like, there are some fathers, they leave on a Friday, they come back on a Sunday. Me, I'm always at home, Monday to Sunday. I enjoy to be with my family more than anything else, and I can't be away from my family. So my children have spent most of the time with me. Okay, my daughter, yes, she has actually, since we came to Malawi, that's when she has been so very close to us. In South Africa, I worked in the casino with my son, when I had my son, he was young, and that was not a good time because we used to work shifts. I used to work shifts in the casino. My wife was also working in the same casino. So we used to work for a casino called Grand West Casino. I was a supervisor in the casino at that time. My wife was a waitress in the casino. So sometimes we will, not see each other for like the whole month. When my wife is going to work, I am coming back from work graveyard. By the time I finish graveyard, she's going to go for graveyard. It was not a good experience. We had to have a young cousin of my wife to stay with us. So she was the one who was looking after my son. And it was not a good experience. But all right, just to be in the casino was an experience because there was a lot of things to learn. But raising children was not good. So eventually we decided to quit the casino. Then we came back to normal life. It took me, almost maybe 5 years for the casino, thing to come out of my head. The casino, when you arrive to work, there were so many things that you had to do just to be in the, to start work. And you come, you enter the gate, you sign, then you go to what you used to call a key issue room. There were securities there. You get your keys. Like me as a supervisor, we had special keys that were for opening slot machines. And then you go to the office, and then you have some briefing. After briefing, then we will go to the floor. And the moment you open the doors to go on the floor, it's that noise, the ding, 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 lots of noise. And we used to have radios, and it's radio. You just enter into a new world. The smoke in the casino, people smoking. It was like it was. Am I so close to the to the to the camera? Maybe I must move the thing behind. Let me just move it back. Yeah, is that fine? Is that okay? But now that means I won't be able to type whenever I want to respond to your questions and whatever. But I hope that now it's fine. Maybe I was so close to the camera. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you are good. You were good before. Okay. All right, let me bring back again. Um, Hello, congratulations on the 5,000 soon to come. If you had endless wealth to put forth for the country of Malawi, what would that be, or what would you do? All right. I was thinking the other day that I need to do a video about if I was the president, or let's say if if Malawi was given to me to run as a business, what would I do? You know, I was given like money as capital, and then they said, okay, we give you Malawi so that you must run Malawi. What would I do? All right. The first thing that I'll do is I'll have a team of people to market Malawi who are going to do the marketing. So, like in a country where you have already, there must be a minister of external affairs, or where they do to market our country. So, I will bring in a very good team of people that would be able to market Malawi for us. And the second thing, I'm going to take a list of things that the strengths that Malawi has got. So I'll have a list of the strengths that Malawi has got, and then I'll have a list of the weaknesses Malawi has got. Those strengths in Malawi, first of all, is the land. We have got very fertile land. So agriculture in Malawi is one of the easiest things that we can do in Malawi. So first of all, with the land being very fertile, we get good rains. We have plenty of rivers where we can get water for irrigation. Then I'll look at, after on that land side, I'll look at, okay, what can we be able to use the land for? So the first thing is to find out what is the commodity that Malawi can be producing. All right, we have macadamia nuts in Malawi. We can also grow cashew nuts. And right now, at the moment, as we know that marijuana has been legalized in many countries, and Malawi itself has also legalized marijuana. I will make sure that we actually farm this marijuana at a very extensive level. And what I'll do is I will attract investors who will come to Malawi to be able to process the marijuana, than to just sell it as unfinished product. So they will be doing the processing of finishing of the marijuana. But then the people because at the moment Malawi depends on tobacco as one of our main export product. And then all the people that have been farming tobacco, we will be shifting them to be growing this marijuana. So we will train them how to grow the marijuana, and then after that, when it's harvested, then these investors, they are the ones who are going to brand it, to do the finishing of to process it. And the marketing of the marijuana already is there. Everybody who knows about Malawi and marijuana, they know it's the best marijuana in the world. It's actually given the name Malawi God. It wasn't given Malawi God for no reason. There was a reason why it was given Malawi God. So it is our God. We don't mine a lot of God in Malawi, but that marijuana is Malawi God. So we will be exporting it. We will try to make sure that our international airport can load the marijuana and send it straight to America. I understand California is legalized there. We export it there. I was watching one day, somebody on YouTube talked about marijuana in the medical marijuana in California, how much money it's bringing in. It's bringing billions and billions of US dollars. So that would be the main thing. That's one of our strengths that we have in Malawi. The second thing on the land itself, we grow a lot of groundnuts. Right now, Malawi is supposed to export groundnuts, lots of groundnuts, I think, to India, and we failed to meet our quota. So we make sure that we're growing a lot of groundnuts, and we have macadamia nuts, which is a very healthy food. And we also can be able to grow cashew nuts. I remember when I was in South Africa, a packet of cashew nuts is so expensive. In fact, we can make more money with cashew nuts than we are making money with tobacco. But I don't know if people have done some research on that. I don't know. So with cashew nuts, macadamia nuts, and then we can grow maize. I understand in Sudan, they're also buying maize from Malawi. We are not meeting our quota. So we can grow maize at an extensive level. We can also process the maize into flour. Sudan also wants the flour from us so that we can sell them. And also, if we grow a lot of maize in Malawi, the price of maize will go cheaper. It will even go cheaper than people in Zambia. They'll find the maize in Malawi cheaper. So they will come across the border to buy maize from Malawi. So that means then we will have to also, this is the products that I'm going to do. So how are we going to be able to achieve this goal? We have to use rain-fed farming, but after we harvest, like now, we'll be harvesting our maize in the next 2-3 months. Once we harvest, then we should be able to grow again maize. So we'll make sure that we boost our irrigation farming so that we can plant our crops twice a year. So that's on the farming. The second thing that I'm going to do is tourism. Malawi has got the most beautiful lake. It's a peaceful country. The Malawian people are very friendly, and the Malawian people, we have good culture. So I'll make sure that tourism starts bringing in a lot of dollars. So the first thing I'll do as a government, I'll make sure that I fix the infrastructure. So I'll build a highway, which is coming from the north, which will be driving alongside the lake up to the bottom of the lake. The best highway with 6 lanes, and then we'll identify areas that we want to build a city. So what I'll do is I'll go to that area. We'll demarcate. Say, for example, this side we have the lake, we have a beach, and after the beach, the first plots that we're putting there will be hotels. And then behind the hotels, we have a highway, and after that, we're having shops. Then when you go to the other side, that's when we're having the police stations and hospitals, the other side, residential areas. We build a beautiful city. And also along the lake, we find another place where we're going to put a sports city, where we're going to build along the lake on the beach. We have almost like a stadium set up for water sports. And we also build facilities for Olympic sports and even football. So football will never be played in the cities here. They will play by the lake. So whenever there's big tournaments, we will have people coming from all over the country, world or Africa, to attend the sports by the lake. So I'll boost the tourism to a level where it has never been done before, just like Trump says. It has never been done before. That's what I would do. And then the third thing is our game reserves. Make sure that our game reserves are upgraded so that when the tourists come, they don't have any problems, to move around the game reserves. They don't have any hassles. And then the fourth thing that I'll do is road infrastructure. Every road that is going to lead to our tourism industry should be upgraded. So I will not focus first on trying to, develop most of the things that we like in the townships and all those. I'll first focus on these main things, because if I can finish them in the first 3 years, then after that, money is going to flock in Malawi. So we fix our international airport. From the airport, we have to have good highways. From our airport here in Lilongwe, where I'm saying there's a train station, and this train station goes all the way to the lake. I'll upgrade the train station so that when visitors come, they land at the airport, they get in the coach, they arrive at the station, get in the train, they go to the lake. That's what I would do. And the rest is just going to go smooth. That's what I would do if I was to run Malawi as a business. I was given an opportunity to run Malawi as a business. We have Likoma Island. Likoma Island, what I can do is to try to boost Likoma Island so that most of the investors, people, high-profile tourists should be coming to Likoma. So you can fly from America, land at our international airport, get into another plane, you arrive at Likoma with good facilities there at the island. So, and you know, if you want to know about Likoma Island, just search Likoma Island and also search for Kayamawa. Let me type it for you. Search for Kayamawa on Google. Yeah, so that's what I would do. Somebody say, how many subs need to hit 5,000? I think at the moment we were having about 30 something. So let me check how many subscribers I need now. It's very tough, right? I'm still on 4,960. I haven't reached 4,970 yet, so I think I'll be here till tomorrow morning. So I don't know what's gonna happen. You know, I'm at the moment streaming from the workshop, so I've brought myself a blanket, so I'll be sleeping here. If I get tired, I'll take this and I'll sit there and I'll be in a blanket and you'll be watching me in the blanket. Ondweri Ogeri says you should try other nature-friendly crops too from other African countries besides that what Malawi is known to grow. That's true. And then Nosizwe Mvusi said, oh, good. What is the current highest export of Malawi? Our current highest export is tobacco. But now, as you know, tobacco already is getting banned. So we are doomed. And then what could replace the tobacco is going to be obviously the marijuana. But then besides that, we have cotton, we have groundnuts, we have soya beans that we also sell, and many other products. But Vichiona says, give us an update on the total subscribers so far. How many to go? Let me just quickly check and see if I've got how many to go. Let me just check. Mm, 4,966. All right, it's 4,966 at the moment. That's where we are. So it's about 34 subscribers. Please tell your family members to subscribe. If we reach 5,000 now, I'll still continue entertaining you. But yeah, this is what I've done. I need to stay on here until I reach to 5,000 subscribers. I'm hungry already, so I don't know. At a certain time, I'll run to the house to get something to drink so that, you know, I'm feeling hungry already. Okay. Ojueno said, check out the style of sports stadium in Kigali, Rwanda. Tell the style of tourism to Malawi. You see, that's what we did. We need to have Olympic-style stadiums by the lake. All the sporting activities should have been happening there, not in the city. So that when the visitors come, they will get in a coach and they'll go to the lake, book in the hotels there. And then when they watch the soccer or whatever sports, they spend all their time in the water and spend their money. But we are not thinking like that. So yeah, I hope that one day somebody will come or somebody's going to watch this and then think like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Bobby Bounce says, oh, you the man. We are here for you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Idris Athre said, you are getting there, my brother. Yes, we will be there. I'm sure some people are going to subscribe and we will reach the target. And Louise said to the 14 people in chat, send this link to your Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook friends. Please, 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 please. I went to Facebook and I've told my friends that I have, can you imagine? I have people who say they are my friends on Facebook, over 5,000. I have more than 5,000, and I've reached the threshold of friends on Facebook, and some people are actually following me. And I've requested that please, those who haven't subscribed, please come and subscribe, and none of them has come. What kind of friends are those? I know that there are some people who are my friends on Facebook who subscribe to my channel, but many of them, they haven't supported me. I should be having 10,000 subscribers on my channel, because on Facebook, there's so many people that are following me. But yeah, but that's how life is. Life is like that. Yeah, John Fisher says, I've heard about Malawi gold. Yes, Malawi produces the best marijuana in the world. Louis says, can you text your daughter to bring you food? And yeah, let me try to see if I can ask them to bring me food. Yeah, okay, I've just texted them. I hope that they will see it, because they're busy also watching. Maybe they're watching me, or they've got other things that they're watching. Louis says, is this your wish list if you were Malawi president? Yes, that was my wish list. If I was Malawi president, that's what I would do. I would run Malawi as a business. I won't run it like a country like politicians do. I will run it as a business. I'll do the proper marketing. I'll do the proper research. I'll do a business plan. Until then, I can now, you know, each department will be working like the way a business works. We have the accounting department, marketing department, the sales department. That's what I'll do. Alternative NGO said it is a good idea, but when you try to do it, you will find out how the 1% control the 99%. Yeah, that's unfortunately that's how it works. Barbara says, nice brother. Nosizo Vusi says, yes, Kayamawa looks so beautiful. I love the idea of using the lake as a tourist attraction and turning the current train system to a high-speed rail from the airport to the lake. Exactly. So John Fisher says, best in the world. John Fisher says, including the West. John Fisher says, I need to see this. Barbara said, my love from Tanzania. Oh, thank you very much. You are our neighbor. Yeah, Tanzania is just across the border. I can drive from here in the morning, and by the end of in the evening I can be in Dar es Salaam. So you are our neighbors. So we should be working together. You should be buying machines from me. All right. So if there's other things that you'd like me to be discussing and chatting with you, please share. I want to do a video of sharing with my fellow South African friends on how you can easily get to get a job easily in South Africa. South Africa is the easiest country for somebody to get a job. When I used to go for interview in South Africa, I always got the job. There was if I can remember, it was only one time when I was never given a job, but all the times I went for interview, I got the job. It's the easiest place for somebody to get a job because there's not nepotism like in Malawi. If you just have to actually show them that you are better than all the other people that are coming for the interview. So I'm gonna do a video to share the tips on how I used to do it. But Cindy Carroll said, is the company on the board behind you a sponsor? Oh yes, we are in talks between me and Injinko that should be marketing the products. They say that I can sell the products and then I can also negotiate with them so that I can get share. So I'm busy coming up with a package that we will go and agree with them. So hopefully it's gonna work like that. Yeah. Bobby Barnes said, wait, you are that close to Tanzania. Yes, we are very, very close, very, very close. And DC Cell, help up Block 93, and I can't believe I caught you live. Yeah, thank you very much. You have always been missing me. Every time I'm live, you are not there. Today you are here. If you have got any questions that you would like me to answer, you can always ask me, and then I'll be answering. You want to know more about Malawi? You want to know more about my business? You want to know more about blogs? If you are from South Africa, you want to know why foreigners they come and they do well in South Africa? I know the secret. I will share with you now. I will reveal everything. All right. Bobby Barnes says, and what does Block 929 stands for? Okay, Block 929. When I was in South Africa, I lived for 15 years there, and I came back here in 2010. That's when I came back from South Africa. In that year, I decided that I wanted to come back to Malawi. So I took leave and came to Malawi. I bought a house, and then that house, I wanted to do an extension. And when I was living in South Africa, we had a house, and that house was built with cement blocks. So that is something that attracted me. So when I came here, I said, I want to build my house using cement blocks. And I couldn't find cement blocks. So I moved around town looking for cement blocks, and I found some guys who were selling cement blocks next to the road. And they were the only ones selling cement blocks in that whole city. So I bought those blocks and started building my house with the cement blocks. And everybody used to pass on the road next to my house, and they used to stop. Even when they were driving, they used to stop and say, why are you building your house with cement blocks? I used to tell them it's the cheapest way of building. And then we used to have, like arguments. So after finishing the house, I went, finishing the building, I went back home to South Africa, and it stayed in my head. I said, in my country, people don't know more about cement blocks. So I need to go back and try to market this idea. So in the same year, 2010, in December, I quit my job, came here with a manual machine, and then I started talking about cement blocks. It was the toughest thing I have ever done in my life. The way people were so negative about cement blocks, you can never believe. If there's a Malawian here who's watching, can actually attest what I'm saying. I was almost beaten up by people because of campaigning about cement blocks. From 2010, from 2011 to 2013 is when I got the first person who told me, Ted, you have now preached about blocks. How can I get them? So I took this machine that I brought from South Africa, and I copied it, and I sold this machine to this gentleman, and I showed everybody on Facebook that I've just sold my first machine. And then that's when it all started. That was 2013. Today is 2022. Malawi is building with cement blocks. If you're building with bent bricks, people are looking at you and say, what's wrong with you? So if you come to Malawi and you see houses built with cement blocks, I'm the one who championed it. I don't know if I will ever get credit for it, but that's what happened. So my house is built with blocks, and it is standing on plot number 929. So that's why it is block 929. Now you know. All right. Luis said, do you have Instagram account? I have it, but I don't remember the name. I think the name is Ted Kwerepeta. If you can check for Ted Kwerepeta. Ted Kwerepeta. I think that's the name of the Instagram. My daughter will know because she's the one who opened it for me. But I don't spend much on Instagram. I've written Twitter. I've never done anything on Twitter. I've never done anything on Instagram. I only do WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube. That's the only things that I do, social media. And Babalat said, I will visit Malawi one day. I'm here after Mark Meet Africa. Oh, yes. Mark Meet Africa has helped me a lot. I think with Mark Meet Africa, I've gained close to 500 subscribers, if I'm not lying. He has really helped me. And this collaboration thing is very good. I want to convince Wodemaya to come and visit me. It will be great if you can come here. And if there's any subscriber of Wodemaya, please write on his thing to let him know that there's block 929 and he wants to have a collaboration with you. I think he can love my story, and so it can be a great thing. Luis says, is Mark still in Malawi? Wake him up and tell him to come to the live. No, Mark left. He went back to Tanzania. He's not in Malawi. He's in Tanzania now. Yeah. Pat Vichona says, I'm your friend on Facebook. I saw your post. We are getting 5,000K. Don't worry, brother. But hey, have you tried sharing the link to your WhatsApp? It also works well. Yeah, I think I've shared it to my WhatsApp group. Um, what are the relative costs for plots of land in Malawi in Lilongwe? Half acre to 1 acre. Okay, in Lilongwe, in fact, Lilongwe is the fastest growing city in Malawi, but I'm sure it could be also the fastest growing city in Central Africa. It's growing at a very rapid speed. There's now, if you must buy land, you are now getting further and further from the city. And it depends on what type of plot you want to buy. If you want to buy plots in an area that is high density area, you will be getting a plot somewhere around maybe 200,000 to maybe 500,000. If you are buying in a medium to low density area, you should be getting about 600,000 to maybe 1 million. If you go to a low density area, like, suburb areas, there now you're looking at more than 2 million to 50 million for a plot. So yeah, there is areas that are very, very expensive. The lake, now it's even getting more expensive. You're starting from 15 million for a 15 by 30 plot. So yeah, like for me, I've been late. I want to have a plot at the lake. So I've been late, but I'm sure if I go further higher to the north, I will be able to get much more affordable plots by the lake. I don't know if I'll be able to get a much affordable plot next to the beach, but the lakeside is actually getting more expensive. Alternative NGO says, I would like to introduce to you something new, but I will email you for details. Please do. I'm always waiting to collaborate, new ideas, anything. I'm always willing to do that. All right. If you have any questions, you can see I've got lots of energy. It's now 13 past 11. Wow. I'm going to be here until tomorrow. It looks like I'm going to be here until tomorrow. Wow. Why did I do this? Yeah. Yeah, but I'm speaking very loud. I'm sure some people around, they can hear me speaking. At night, the voice goes very far. And there's neighborhood watch that moves here. And when they're passing, I'm sure they will see me in this workshop because I've got lights, there's no curtains, and people outside can be able to see what I'm doing. Yeah. If you want to know anything about my life, I'm always ready to share. I will also be sharing some stories about my life in South Africa. I once told you a story about the place that I used to work in South Africa. Let me tell you a story of my wine experience. Some of you don't know that I'm a wine guru. I used to know a lot about wines. I don't know if I can still remember. There was a time when I had started a business and it failed. I was in the street selling. Who is that? It's Tamara. Okay. Come. I have got some juice here and some salad, tomato salad. Can you say hi to the people?
Hi.
Yeah. So Tamara did brought the food for me. Yeah, thank you very much. All right. So let me close. Yeah. So that was Tamara. It's actually great to have family. So she brought me something. She brought me a drink called Kwaju. This drink is made from tamarind. I don't know if you know tamarind. That's how they make this juice. Oh, I'm marketing for them, which is great. Yeah, so it's tamarind. You can actually see over there. It's a very nice juice. It is made in Malawi. All right. Okay. Uh, yeah. So uh, after I quit my job, um, it was very devastating. I lost everything. I lost my vehicle. I lost my truck. I ended up going to the street, sitting next to the road, selling sweets. And I was selling sweets and cigarettes in Pau, in Cape Town, in South Africa. Now, at that time, I had told my wife that I would never work for anybody again. And my wife started telling me, look what you're doing. No, you're struggling. Can't you go look for a job? I used to say, no, I'm not going to look for a job. I'm going to think of how I'm going to make this work. But then when every time I go to the street to sell the sweets and cigarettes, and I used to think, I say, I'm selling sweets and cigarettes. How far is this going to take me? I had found myself a store just on the pavement in Pau. Then my wife at the time was also not working because when I quit the job, we were all working in the casino in Kimberley. She also had quit her job. And then she was not working. So she decided, no, she need to go and look for a job because what her husband is doing is not going to work. So she went for an interview for a company called Fair Deal Furnitures in Cape Town. Fair Deals is a company that sells furniture. And then when they went there, they was interviewing her. And then they asked her, they said, lady, are you a South African? She said, yes, I'm South African. You sure you're South African? She said, yes. Where were you born? She said, I was born in Pau. She said, are you telling us that you are a local from Pau? She said, yes. They said, but the way you are answering in the interview, the questions we are asking, the confidence that you have, where did you learn this? And then she said, I learned it from my husband. And they said, oh, from your husband? Can you tell us more about your husband? So she said, no, my husband is a Malawian, and he's staying here in South Africa with me. They said, what is he doing? She said, no, he says he started a business and the business failed. And then he is actually in the street trying to sell sweets and cigarettes. They said, oh, that's very interesting. So she did the interview and she came home and I asked her, how was the interview? She said, the interview was great. They were asking me about you. And then the next day, she had gone for 2 interviews, the Fair Deals and the other one was in a bank. The next day, the bank called her to go to start work. And the same day, Fair Deals called her also to go and start work. And then she told Fair Deals, she said, no, I'm not going to take the job anymore. I'm going to go and work in the bank. And so they said, oh, it's a pity. Okay, well, give us a number of your husband. So she gave them my number. And then I'm sitting in the pavement selling sweets, the phone rang. And this lady called and said, I'm calling from Belleville. I wanted to know, aren't you looking for a job? I said, no, ma'am, I'm not interested for a job. I want to work for myself and I'll do this. She said, your wife told us that you are in the street selling sweets and all those things. I said, yes. She said, but do you think that you're doing the right things? Do you think that selling sweets is something that you should be doing? Because the way your wife told us about you, it seems like you can be a good salesman. You can work for us and you'll be doing great. I said, I'm sorry. I want to do this. And I promised myself I'll never get a job again. Then she said, okay, Mr. Gwerebeda, do me a favor. Can you come on Monday? We can just have a chat on Monday. I said, okay, I'll come. So that Monday I left, I went to, got in the train, arrived in Belleville. So when I arrived there, she said, oh, Mr. Gwerebeda, glad that you came. Come in. She took me in a room, with a lot of desks. And she said, you can have a seat. And then she came with a paper and a pen. And she said, Mr. Gwerebeda, please just do this aptitude test for us. I said, but I told you I don't want to work. She said, no, just do the aptitude test for us. So I started writing the test. I was there in the morning. Then by 11 o'clock, I had finished with the test. And then she said, Mr. Gwerebeda, can you hang on so that we go and look at your aptitude test? I said, okay, no problem. And then she went. And when she came back, she came with another gentleman. They sat down and they said, Mr. Gwerebeda, please, please, please work for us. Can you imagine? A Malawian in South Africa, a company begging for him to work for them. Please, please, Mr. Gwebeta, work for us. You know, when you work for us, we will start you with a basic salary, 2,500. You are going to have provident fund and whatever and all those kind of things. And I said, okay, I'll give it a try. They said, thank you very much, Mr. Gwebeta. When can you start? I said, no, I can start anytime. They said, okay, next Monday, you must go to Power Branch. And then you go there, you go and meet the manager. There was I can't remember that guy now anymore. He was a manager, Moses. You must go meet there. There's a branch manager, Moses, and Moses was a trainee branch manager. So I went to PAL, entered at the shop, and I met Moses. And at that time, it was me and another guy. His name was Trevino. We were new guys, so we entered in that. Started working for Fair Deals. And Moses was a trainee manager. He used to be a sales rep, so he was being trained to be a manager. And he needed to prove himself because this shop needed to have a branch manager, but then they were struggling to get a branch manager. So it was going to be an opportunity for him to get this position. And so he needed to prove himself. So when I used to sit in there, I had my own desk, you know. There was a lady in the shop who was a sales lady. Her name was June. And June was a very good, experienced sales lady. She had been working as a sales lady for almost 15 years. And then Moses, he would always come every now and then to my desk and we chat because, you know, he liked me being a foreigner. Moses was a black guy. He was a Xhosa guy. And then, so we were going to earn commission in this shop. But we had a basic, and then we were going to also earn commission. So every time customers walk in, me, I want to show that I want to sell. I'll stand up, run to the customer. Can I help you? And the customer will tell me, no, I'm just looking. And, you know, depressed, I go back, sit on the desk. Another customer comes, I want to move fast. I go there, and then, can I help you? No, I'm just looking. I said, when am I going to make a sale? And then Moses, one day, he came and stand next to me. And then when a customer walked in, he saw me standing and I went to the door and the customer told me, I'm just looking, and he came back. Then he said, Ted, do you know what you're doing wrong? I said, Moses, what am I doing wrong? He said, a good salesman is able to read buying signals. When a person wants to come and buy, he's going to show you some signals that I want to buy. I said, buying signals? It's the first time for me to hear the word buying signals. He said, yes, buying signals is a customer will be showing you that he's coming here to buy. So I said, but how am I going to know that a person is going to buy? How am I going to be able to read these buying signals? He said, you look over there, that's June. Every time June stands up and goes to a customer, she writes a deal. It's because she now knows the art of reading the buying signals. So you need to be like June, be able to read buying signals. So Moses went. So every now and then I sit and I watch. If a customer walks in, I look at June, you'll find that June is busy, maybe writing something. She just looks up and she continues looking. And I said, okay, when this person was coming, what did they do? Then I'll find that sometimes the person will be passing and, the shop has got a big glass. So the person will pass, looking into the shop and stop, and then he turned back and went into the shop, goes into the shop. And June will never get attracted to that person. And sometimes a customer will come from the other cross of the road, crosses the road and comes directly into the shop. June stands up. Then I realized, I said, okay, a person who wants to buy comes directly to the shop because already in the mind, I'm going to buy something and I'm going to go into Fair Deals, and he walks. But a person who's just passing by, normally they will just look and then they get in the shop. So there are people who walk in the shop, they're just coming in to look, and there's people that are coming there to buy. Then I started getting it. I said, wow, now I'm able to read the buying signals. I went home on the internet, YouTube, typed buying signals. There's plenty of videos that teach you how to read buying signals. It started getting me fired and excited. I went to CNA, it's a bookstore. I started looking for sales books. One day I'm going to do a live. I'll show you all the books that I have. I've got a suitcase full of books. I started buying sales books, started reading. Wow, I started understanding the sales process. You know, I understood the sales process to a point where I can actually train people how to sell. And suddenly I started closing deals in that shop, closing deal. So there was a regional manager. His name was Zen, and he used to come to the shop because in the furniture shops, when you close a deal, it gets registered in the system. So even the regional manager, wherever he is, he can actually see the sales that each sales rep is making. Then he started discovering that I'm making some sales. So then he came one day in the shop and he said, Ted, I need you to come to my desk. So I went there, and when I sat there, and then he said, Ted, congratulations. I said, why? He said, you're doing very well. In fair deals, you are going to have a very good future because the way you're doing very well. And then he said, every time when I come in this branch, every time I come, you must come and sit with me for some time. I said, wow. And this was I was like the second month working for this branch. And then when I went home, I said, wow, they're saying that I'm doing well. So what am I doing at fair deals? I should be selling Mercedes-Benz, because when I did some research, I discovered that if you're a sales rep and selling cars, like for Toyota, Mercedes-Benz, you don't walk when you're going home. You just choose a car and you drive and you go home. I said, no, I want to be a sales rep, to work as a sales rep selling cars. So I started continuing learning more about selling. I said, one day, if I see a position looking for people who are selling cars, I'm going to go for it. Now, one day my wife was chatting with a friend who was working at Boschendal wine estate. And then this lady said to her, okay, what is your husband doing? She said, no, my husband is working for Fair Deals as a sales rep. She said, oh, okay. Here at Boschendal, sometimes they do take in wine assistants. Why can't he come and work here as a wine assistant? She said, oh, I think my husband would be interested. So the lady said, no, send me his CV. So my wife sent my CV to that lady. And then when I was working for Fair Deals on the third month, I just got a phone call. When I answered the call, and then I wish this manager for the one estate was here watching this. He called me and he said, is that Ted? I said, yes. He said, okay, can you come tomorrow for an interview? I said, where is this? He says, no, it's Boschendal. I said, oh, Boschendal. He said, yes. I said, okay, I can come. So I went to see Moses, and I told Moses, I said, Moses, I've got something going on tomorrow, so I'm going to be late for work. Maybe I'll come after lunch. He said, no problem. You can come after lunch. So the morning, when I got home, I told my wife, I said, they're calling me for an interview for Boschendal. She said, oh, really? It's because of my friend. My friend told me about that they sometimes take people, so I gave her your CV. I said, why didn't you tell me? She said, no, I just sent it to her. So I went for the interview. And when I went in the interview, I looked at the wine estate. The place was so beautiful. I said, wow, this is where I should be working. I should be selling wines. So in the interview, Jamil asked me, where did you work before? I told him that I had worked in the casino. He said, why did you leave? I said, no, I left to start a business and my business failed. And then he said, okay, so now where are you working? I said, I'm working for Fair Deals as a sales rep. He said, oh, that's good. And he said, Ted, I want to ask you a question. Why do you want to work here at Boschendal? Because here at Boschendal, we don't pay a lot of money. We pay something like $250 a week. And you worked in a casino, you were earning a lot of money, and there at Fair Deals, you're earning $2,500. Here, you want to be earning a lot of money. I said, I still want to come and work here. He said, why? I said, because of opportunities for learning and growth. And he said, that's a good answer. So he told me, he said, Ted, when can you start? I said, anytime. He said, okay. I said to him, I would have to first go and speak to my boss there and then give them a notice. But I've been working for 3 months, so I'm sure they will allow me to leave sooner. So he said, oh, go and talk to them. So I went to Fair Deals, found Moses. I said, Moses, I've got another job. I'm going to work at a winery as a wine. They used to call us wine advisors. So I'm going to work as a wine advisor. So Moses said, no, Ted, if you are going for greener pasture, for a better opportunity, you can go. So I said, so when can I leave? He said, anytime you want to leave, there's no problem. That's when I left and I started working at Boschendal. First time to experience wine. The first thing they did to train me how to smell a wine and to pick up the aromas. The second thing, how to taste a wine. When I put the wine on my mouth, it was the first time in my life to put alcohol on my mouth. A very different experience. So they started training me about wine, the process of wine. We went in the winery to learn how wine is made, the whole wine process. They took me in a combi, a van. We went into the vineyard in the mountain. They taught me how the vines are planted, the whole viticulture, how does it work. And then after that, we started, customer sales and all those kind of things. Then I started working at Boschner as a wine advisor. I discovered that there was people coming in from China, from America, from France. So my job would be, they would tell us, Ted, today you have got a group of people coming from France, you're going to do wine tasting. So I'll stand in front with the wine. I'll tell them, today we are going to taste Boschendal Sauvignon Blanc. You are also going to taste Boschendal Rosé, and I'll explain how that wine is made, smell, and all that kind of thing. I started getting questions. So they'll ask me, Ted, how old are the vines that were used to make this wine? Then I'll tell them, no, I don't know. I'll find out for you. Then I used to go all the time to the winery to speak to the winemaker. Then I'll be asking questions. Every time customers ask me questions, I'll write down. If I don't know the answer, go to the winemaker. If it's a viticulture question, I go to the viticulturist, then ask questions. I also started going online to start learning how is wine made in France, how is wine made in Spain, how is wine made in the Napa region in America. Then I will know which wines are very popular in America, all those kind of things. And then also learn more stories about wines online. So when the customers came, I used to have a story for each group of people. If there are people from France, I'll be telling them stories about from France, the type of wines, which regions they make. The South region, they make this type of wine. And I used to make the wine tasting very, very nice for the people. And I also started learning to also, when you're working at the wine estate, they have got merchandise that they were selling. So they used to sell something like what they call a vacuum cleaner. It's like when you open a bottle of wine, oxygen goes into the wine, and this oxygen causes a process called oxidation. And that's why wine, when you open it, you can't keep it for more than 3 days. After that, the wine goes off because it gets oxidized. So they used to have a gadget that would prolong the process. Like if you open a bottle of wine, you put this gadget on top of the bottle and you pump to remove the oxygen. And this gadget, it used to be called a vacuum sealer. So we were told that if you sell that, you will get a commission of 50 Rand. So every time the customers come, I see, okay, the Chinese, normally the Chinese used to come in a group. They'll come like 20 of them. Then I'll do the wine tasting. When I finish, I'll take the vacuum sealers, put them onto the bottle. I start pumping and just put it there. And then all of them will go, oh, what is that? And then I said, no, this is a vacuum sealer. It helps to prolong your wine and all that stuff. They said, where can we get it? I said, no, we are selling it. Then they would all line up buying vacuum sealers. That's when I used to make my pocket money. So, and also sometimes when I do wine tasting in the hall, I used to have my sales techniques to get tips. So what I would do is, more especially if it's Germans or people from Europe, when I do wine tasting in the hall, and when I finish, when they're going out, I used to stand by the door. Now, when they're passing there, I'll be greeting each one by hand. I say, thank you very much, thank you very much. If one of them just puts his hand in the pocket and gives me money, I make sure that when I'm receiving, all the others see that I've received, and I say, thank you. Then everybody starts opening their wallets, start giving me tips. I used to make lots of money. When I go home, although we are getting peanuts, but I used to have money all the time, pocket money, because of tips. And I said to myself, wow, this is where I must be. And you know what? I want to tell you something. At that time, there was what they call BEE in South Africa, Black Economic Empowerment. What they said with the Black Economic Empowerment was that companies should be employing more Black people on different levels in the companies. And that is one of the reasons why I was given this job at Boshendal. And to tell you the truth, in the wine industry, at that time, there was no Black people. Many Black people didn't want to work in the winery because they relate the winery as a farm. So they never wanted to work with white people. So they never wanted to work on the farm. So when I came to this Boshendal, I was the only Black person. The rest were colored people. So I said to myself, this is where I must be. Because for me to grow to the top, it will be very, very, very fast. Because there are not many people Black people in the industry. So opportunities for growth for me are going to be very, very fast. So I started working hard. I continued going to the internet to learn more about wines. So every time I come home, I used to tell my wife about these stories and what is happening and how the Chinese, how they enjoy my wine tasting. So my wife at the time, she was working in Stellenbosch for a company that was making locks. So she used to get a lift with another guy. His name was Andrew. He was working at a wine estate called Nittlingshof. So when they are in the car, she used to tell this guy about my story. He said, hey, my husband is very good with wines. So he said, oh, your husband, where did you learn about wines? He said, no, he's doing it at Boshendal. And he's a guru when it comes to wine. Then the guy used to laugh. He said, you said he's from Malawi, so what does he know about wine? So my wife said, I'm serious. My husband, you must get a job for him at Nittlingshof. So the guy said, okay, when there's a position, I will let you know. Then one day, he gave my wife a job post. He said, they're looking for wine tasting assistants at Nittlingshof. So give this, you said your husband is good with wine. Go and give him so that he must apply. So she came home, she gave me this paper. I looked, I said, I'm going to apply for this job. So I applied. Within a week, they called me for the interview. So when I went to Nittlingshof, I found a lady called Ambi. She was a human resources manager, and Tanya, who was a wine facilities manager. So I went in the interview, and I sat down. They said, okay, Ted, tell us about yourself. I said, my name is Ted. I'm originally from Malawi, been living in South Africa for so. I work for Boshendal as a wine advisor. And before that, I worked for Fair Deal Furnitures. Before that, I worked for the casino. And then Ambi is just busy writing on the piece of paper. And then Tanya sat and looked at Ambi. Ambi said, okay, Ted, we will call you. So I said, oh, okay. He said, yeah, we'll let you know if you got a job. I was very depressed that day. And then I stood up and was leaving the office. Tanya stood up and she followed me. We went out, she closed the door. She took out a business card and she gave it to me. She said, Ted, here's my business card. If you got any questions, you can ask me anytime. And then she said, you did well with the interview, but here's my business card. So I took the business card, put it in my wallet, I went home. I arrived at home, my wife asked me, how did it go? I said, I didn't get the job. She said, you didn't get the job, how do you know? I said, the way the interview went, I didn't get a job because the human resources, they never asked me questions to know more about me. They made it so abrupt and then it was over. But the lady who was in there, the other lady, she escorted me out. She gave me a business card. So it still gives me confidence, but I don't think I got the job. So what I did, the next day, I went to the internet cafe. I took the business card, emailed Tanya. Hello, Tanya. It's me, Ted. You interviewed me yesterday. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity for the interview. You know, the fact that you gave me the opportunity for an interview, it showed that I have the potential to work for you guys. But I would really like to thank you for everything that we did. No, I had written this interview because they sent me this email, because they sent me email to tell me that I did not get the job. So that's when I sent this email to tell her that, you know, although I didn't get the job, I would like to thank you for the opportunity. It just gives me confidence. And then Tanya responded and said, no, Ted, you did well in the interview, but we needed somebody who speaks German. But so next time, maybe we can think about you. So I said, okay, when there's a position again, keep my CV because I'm coming again. So Tanya said, no, no problem. And then I was depressed because this company, Knittingsoft, is a company that is one of the subsidiaries of Distel. Now, Distel is a company that makes Amarula, Savannah, Hunters, and all those beverages that you enjoy. So I always wanted to work for Distel. And then I kept on staying, and then I was disappointed, and they never got me. Then one day, my wife came again with the post. She said, Andrew gave me again this one. He said, last time, your husband said he's very good, he can get the job. He didn't get it. Here it is again. There's another position. So what I did, I went to the internet cafe and I applied. I said, I'm applying again for the position of wine tasting assistant. You did an interview with me last time, if you can remember. So I really would like to work for your company if you can give me the opportunity for an interview. Indeed, they called me for an interview. Now, I said to my wife, you know, this time, last time I blundered. I did not take control of the interview. This interview, I am going to take charge of it. And I'm going to get this job. It's my job. She said, are you sure? I said, I will get this job. They called me for the interview to go. And then I told my wife, okay, when you get a lift with Andrew, ask him to bring you a bottle of wine. So she said, what wine must I bring? She said, ask him to bring any bottle he can manage to bring from Knittingsoft. So Andrew went to buy a Sauvignon Blanc. And he went to the wine tasting center to buy a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc. And there was a wine tasting manager there. Her name was Tanya. She was Katrine. Her name was Katrine. She was a German. So he took the wine, he gave it to my wife, go and give it to her husband. Why is he asking for this wine? She said, I don't know. So he gave me the wine. She gave me the wine. I said, okay. I look at it, Sauvignon Blanc. I went on the internet. I pulled out what is called a wine report for that wine. It gives all the information. Then I went to on their website. I went to learn the history of the winery, and I made the copies. I brought them home. I started memorizing the history of the winery. I memorized their mission statement. I memorized their values. I memorized all the information of this wine, and then I was ready for the interview. So on the day of the interview, I took my box that I had gotten from the training, the wine tasting, wine training, because Boschender had sent me for a wine course. So this box had 4 glasses in there. I took that box plus a bottle of wine, which I had slept in the fridge. I put it in a cooler bag, and then I was going to the interview with a bottle of wine and a bag of glasses. And then I had asked my wife to ask Andrew if he can give me a lift. And Andrew agreed. So I got in the lift with Andrew going to Knittingsoft. Now, please type so that I can know that you're still there. Just say, we are here, we are listening. Because maybe I might be speaking to myself here. All right, so I got in the car with Andrew. And he looked at me, he saw me with these things I'm carrying. He said, what is that? I said, no, it's that wine that you bought for me. He said, oh, so what are you going to do with the wine? I said, no, there's something I'm going to do. Then he said, what is there? I said, no, it's wine glasses. I said, okay, fine. The job was for me to be a wine tasting assistant. So I was ready that day. So I arrived there. I was there 30 minutes before time, sitting on the reception. The lady with the reception said, "Yeah, Mr. Kwepete, you're too early." I said, "Yeah, better early than late." Sitting there waiting. When they started coming in, Tanya came in and said, "Hi, Ted, how are you?" I said, "Hi, Tanya, I'm fine." And then she went, and then she came, "Ted, you may come in." Yeah, so I went there, sat in the interview. I said, "This is it. This is my time to get the job." They see me having this bag, I put it down, I put the glass down, and then we start. So in the last interview, there was Tanya and Embi, who was a human resources manager. But this time, Embi was not there. It was Tanya and the wine tasting manager, Catherine. So we're sitting there. So Tanya introduced, "This is Ted. He was here interviewed before, and he's working at Boshendal. Ted, this is Catherine. If you get the job, she'll be your manager. She's the wine tasting manager." And now I hand over to Catherine. So Catherine started asking me basic questions. Said, "Tell us about yourself." I said, "My name is Ted, and I'm very passionate about wine. I'm not very much long in the wine industry, but Boshendal has taught me a lot about wines. I know more about now the viticulture experience in the vineyard. I know more about the wine experience in the winery. So my passion is to work for a company like Nittlingshof, because Nittlingshof is related to Distel. So it has always been my dream to work for Distel." So she said, "Oh, that's interesting. All right, so Ted," she asked me a few questions, said, "Do you have any questions?" I said, "Yeah. The first question I would like to ask is, if I am given a job to work for you and I prove myself, what are the opportunities?" She said, "Oh, there are plenty of opportunities. Just like you said, we are connected to Distel. So if you prove yourself, you will be able to work for Distel." And then she said, "Okay." And then she said, "Is there another question?" I said, "No, I don't have a question, but I would like to do a presentation." She said, "You want to do a presentation?" I said, "Yes." So she leaned back and said, "Okay, do it." I took out my glass and I gave one to Catherine, one to Tanya, one for myself. I took my bottle, I put it on the table. I said, "Here with me is a bottle for Nittlingshof Sauvignon Blanc. This Nittlingshof Sauvignon Blanc is planted on the hills of the Papakai Hills. And from there, it gets a sea breeze that is coming from the sea, which cools the vines. And this makes the Sauvignon Blanc to be very zesty and to have some acidity on the palate. This Sauvignon Blanc can be enjoyed with fish, chicken, and also vegetarian salads." And I opened the glass, I poured the glass for them, and then I took the glass, I swore it. I said, "As you can see, you can observe a green tinge which in the wine, which indicates that the wine is young. And because it's young, it will give you a bite on the tongue, and it will be best to be enjoyed with food. But you can also enjoy it on its own." And then I said to them, I swirl the glass, I nose it, and on the nose you pick up some grassy undertones, which are related to asparagus and cut grass. And then I said, "Let's taste the wine." We tasted it. And they were looking at me, put the glass. They said, "Ted, we are working, we can't drink the wine." I said, "Yeah, we just wanted to do the experience." When I finished, Tanya stood up and said, "Ted, let me go and wash your glasses." I said, "Yes." She took my glasses, went to the kitchen to wash the glasses, and Catherine was just sitting and just looking at me. And when Tanya came back, and then they said, "Ted, thank you very much for the wine tasting experience. We'll get back to you. We'll let you know. So yeah, you may go." So I took my bags and then my white glasses and the bottle, smiling, went out. And I walked. They have got a long driveway. I was walking, looking back. They can still see me. Once I just went where nobody can see me, I just jumped. Yes! I've got the job. I went home. My wife said, "How's the interview?" I said, "I've got the job." She said, "How do you know?" I said, "I was the first person to be interviewed. I did the wine tasting there. I even also taught them the history of the wine estate. I did the wine tasting for them, and I'm sure they were impressed." She said, "Are you sure?" I said, "I'm sure they were impressed. That job is mine." So we waited. We waited. One day I got a phone call, And they told me, Ted, this is Katrine from Knittlings Off. You remember? I said, yes, I remember. She said, I just wanted to call you to tell you that you've got a job. You know, tears came out of my eyes. You know, I had made it. You know, I wanted this job. I wanted badly, and I did not want. And you must know that this company, being a big company, it interviews not. It didn't even interview me as a black person. It interviewed white people. It interviewed colored people. I beat all of them, and I got the job. And then I started working for Knittlings Off. My story, I always say, if I must tell my story is like a movie. It's a book. I started working with Knittlings Off, a big farm. This one is now bigger than Boschendal in terms of the size of the facilities. Boschendal was the biggest wine estate in terms of vineyard, but now I'm working for this big farm in terms of wine. They have got, it was also a boutique wine. They have good wines. If you want to learn more about this wine, you must actually Google it. I'm going to type it for you here so that you can Google Knittlings Off. So you can Knittlings Off. You can Google them, and then you see where I used to work, the facilities that I was working at. Yeah. So did it go through? Am I not just talking to myself here? I hope that it went through. Yeah. Okay, let me do this. Okay. Okay. Oh, you got it. Yeah. All right. All right. So I managed to get this job. So while I was working, drop the link. Yeah, Google Knittlings Off. Thank you. So I started working the first winery. The first winery. It's yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm glad that you're still here. I've got 33. I don't know now how many. If you haven't subscribed, the idea, I'm here telling you all this because I want you to subscribe. So please subscribe to my channel so that I can go to sleep later on when I finish the stories. So don't be stingy with your subscription. Please press the button there, and also notification bell so you get notified all the time. So let's see. 2007. Yeah, now I'm at 4,970. We are getting there, we're getting there. 4,970. So yeah, so we got 30 to go. Yeah, so we are very close. Please, if you are just coming in, subscribe. All right, now let's continue with the story from Knittlings Off. Knittlings Off was one of the best experiences I've ever had. With Katrine, she taught me a lot. There was also a supervisor there. Her name was Sandra. She taught me a lot there. And the wines that they have, if you Google and check the wines that they have got what they call I've forgotten the name of the wine, but it's called the Our Post. They've got the Caracal wine. You must search these wines. They search for Caracal wine, I think. Search for When I was leaving, they had just introduced those type of wines. Very great wine. They have they have a rosé wine which they are known a lot with. They have got the Sauvignon, the Boschendau Sauvignon Blanc, which was also a very good wine, and they also produced a very good Pinotage. Yeah. Oh, please subscribe. All right. I explained to you that Boschendau was a subsidiary of Distel. I told my wife when I started working at Boschendau, I said, give me 1 year, I'll be working for Distel. And it indeed happened. Exactly 1 year I worked for Knittingsoft, I ended up in Distel. And this is how I did it. You know, with my wine sales skills, I made sure that when I do a wine tasting, it is a selling experience. So if there's a group of 10 people tasting wines, I shouldn't be making less than maybe 2,000 rands from the sales from that team. I should make more than 2,000 rands. So which means when the people taste the wine, when they're leaving, they should buy wine of more than 2,000 wines, or 2,000 rands. I was not getting any commission on the wines. I was getting commission on the wine, the vacuum sealers, and the merchandise that the company was actually selling. So I was getting commission from that. But now when you do a wine tasting, they put you on a system, your name and the group of people that came, or the tour company that brought the people. So they will be able to track how many sales were made on your wine tasting. So the company realized that I'm selling a lot of wines for them. So what they started doing is their best customers that were coming, I was the one who was doing the testing. I've even done the testing with the president of Singapore. He had come to visit the winery. So I did the testing with them. I had did a testing with some celebrities, some government officials. So I used to have a one-on-one. They had what they call a private cellar. They have got a private cellar. If you can search Knittingsoft wine, Knittingsoft private cellar, you will see it's an underground cellar. I used to do testings in that cellar. I've got some videos in my camera, but the camera's battery is dead and the charger doesn't work. So I'm asking somebody to buy it for me. And when I've got those videos, I'm gonna share them on Facebook when I was doing testing inside the wine cellar. So I was becoming a star at Knittingsoft. The management used to love me so much. Then one thing that I realized, the Distel has got so many wines that they sell. Most of the people, Distel wines, more especially those in South Africa, the wines that Distel sells. But they also used to have what they call the boutique wine estates. So they had a company that was marketing their boutique wines. It was called Cape Legends. And Cape Legends was selling 5 brands of wine: Le Bonheur, 8 Cake, Stellenzik, Le Bonheur, 8 Cake, Stellenzik, Alice Foreur, and I've forgotten the other one, but it was 5 brands that they were selling. So they had a team of sales reps. So those sales reps, when they want to promote their wines, they will bring maybe managers from hotels and waiters to our testing center to test the wines. Now, when the salesman came with this group of people, then he will ask for me to do the testing. Now, the way I was doing the testing, the sales reps, they started liking it and say, but this guy is very good with his testing. So when they have meetings in their company, they had their manager was a lady, the sales manager of Cape Legends. Her name was Debbie. So they would tell Debbie, they said, Debbie, at Knittingsoft, there's a black guy there, but he's very good. He should be working with us. He's a very good sales rep. So Debbie said, oh, there's a guy there. I said, yes. So one day Debbie came with some high-profile guest of ours, and I did the testing. So when she was going, she gave me a tip and said, Ted, I enjoyed your testing, and that was great. So I said, no, you're always welcome. And then Debbie went. So there was a time when there was a wine festival at the conference center in Cape Town. So they wanted some people to go there to help out with the marketing of the wine for Nitlingsoft. It was a spicy wine called Gavus Tramina. So they wanted to sell that wine because they were putting it on a restaurant called One Thai. So they wanted some people to go there and volunteer to help. So I put my hand, I went there with another girl who was working with us. So when we went there, Debbie said to me, Ted, I want you to be at One Thai stand, but your duty is to make that you wipe up all the wines that we have allocated for this restaurant. I said, no, don't worry. She said, I've heard that you are good at sales. I said, don't worry, we will wipe it out. So the festival started on Friday, Saturday, and finished on Sunday. The first day on Friday, people will be lining up. They're buying One Thai's food. They were selling the spicy rice and all that stuff. And then my job is to sell the wine. So I'll be telling the people, if you're buying this type of rice and that type of dish, please try our Gavus Tramina. It's a spicy wine. It's got some the floral aromas. It used to smell like flowers. And then people will be, oh, really? Let's test it. And then they'll test it. And then when they like it, they start buying a bottle. They'll buy a bottle. That day, we finished a couple of cases. The next Saturday, we wiped up all the wines. And the one Thai called Debbie and said, Debbie, your wine is finished. And she couldn't believe it. She had to come. She went to Nitlingsoft to order more wines. Boxes came with them. And she said, Ted, I've brought about 5 more cases for Sunday. I hope that you're going to finish this. I said, don't worry. On Sunday, we wiped out all the wines. So when Debbie came that Sunday, she told me, she said, Ted, thank you very much for what you did. I said, no, Debbie, thank you. She said, why are you thanking me? I said, for the opportunity to sell the wine at with One Thai. She said, no, Ted, I must thank you. Then I said, Debbie, don't forget me when you are looking for a sales rep. She said, Ted, I would never forget you. Just be, when you are Nitlingsoft, go in the online, always check in the inbox to see if we are advertising for a post. So when I went back to work, I told Sandra, my supervisor, I said, Sandra, you are always on the computer. Please check for me. If Cape Legends advertise for a sales rep job, please tell me. Indeed, one day Sandra came with an advertisement. I said, I'm going to apply for this. I applied for the job and they called me for the interview. Guess what? I got the job. Now, my job was to be a sales rep to work in Cape Town, selling wines for Cape Legends. And when Debbie selected me to be getting this job to do in Cape Town CBD, the management of Distel from head office, they told Debbie, they said, Debbie, why this guy looks like he's inexperienced. He has never been a sales rep. Why are you giving the job to this guy? Debbie said, I'm giving the job to this guy because I believe in him. The guy is such a fantastic guy. He should be in my team. They said, but it was a big thing. They started now questioning, does he have papers to be working in South Africa? I had to bring my papers, my permanent residence documents and all that stuff. I said, what's going on? It took a month before they could take me because a lot of the big managers, the top management, they were not happy that they should take a black person and put him in CBD Cape Town. But Debbie said, it's my team. I'm prepared to take the risk. I'll take this guy. So they gave me the job. And then the day that I was going to start the work, Debbie called a meeting. All the sales team was there. There was Marius, Mark, Serena, Regen. It was fantastic. I was the only black person in the team. The rest were all white. And then when we came there, I sat in the meeting, and then Debbie said, Ted, you are a lucky guy. I said, why? He said, today is Monday. Next weekend, Friday, we are flying to Durban. We are going to have a road show there. Wow. Now I just landed in the company on Monday. Friday, I'll be flying to Durban. And then she took the keys. She pushed them to me. She said, those are the keys for your car. Mark, take Ted, show him his car, and give him all the things that he needs to know about how to be having the company car for Distel. Now I've moved from knitings of where I was earning 5,000 rands. Now I'm starting to earn 15,000 rands. Can you imagine? A Malawian who came to South Africa with a standard 10 certificate, which is a high school certificate, now he's being given an opportunity to work as a sales rep in South Africa, to drive. It was an Opel. It was what do you call this? VW. It was a VW Polo. He's driving a VW Polo, and he's being given a card, a petrol card. They said, "This is your card. When don't ever run the car without fuel. So always make sure there's fuel in the car. You just go to a filling station, you fill it." They gave me a phone. This is your phone that you should be using as a sales rep. And also, you will be getting entertainment allowance every month. You'll be spending about 500 rands to go to any restaurant of your customers. You just choose. Make sure you are using this entertainment allowance. I said, "Oh yes, of course, I'll be using it." And indeed, that Friday, I got into the plane. We went to Durban. And it was on when we went to Durban was on the 29th of September. It was the 19th of September. I can remember that day because the 20th was my birthday. So we went Durban roadshow. The Saturday roadshow. That evening, Debbie said, "No, guys, today nobody's going to go and sleep today, Ted. We are going to sit outside on the fire and we'll be drinking wines because we had a fantastic day." So, yeah, we started drinking wine. And then at 12 o'clock midnight, when it was just past midnight, the people were still having fun. Then I lifted my hand. So they said, "What is wrong, Ted?" I said, "No, I've got something to say to you." I said, "You just started already. You just started the work. You got already something to say. What do you have to say?" I said, "You know what? I don't know what type of company you are." They said, What is wrong?" I said, "You can't even wish me happy birthday. It's my birthday today." Oh, then everybody was screaming, "It's your birthday. How old are you?" I said, "I'm just turned 40. She said, "What? 40? I thought I was employing somebody who is 27 years of age." I said, "No." She said, "I didn't know I'm employing somebody who's going for retirement." I had gotten that job, and it was one of the best jobs I've ever had. Working as a sales rep, going to restaurants, going to hotels, going to liquor stores, selling my wines. But you know what? At the back of my head, I still wanted to work for myself. I said, if I can be able to achieve a job like this, it means if I start a business for myself, I can be able to do it. I can do it. So I started, making plans for my exit. Already, I just started working for Distel as a sales rep. I'm already starting to plan for my exit. I said to myself, the first business, what did I go wrong? I discovered that I didn't do enough homework. I didn't I know my customers, and also I didn't know how to manage money properly. I didn't know how to sell at that time. So I with Moses, he had taught me how to sell. With the experience that I had with the wine estate, Boschendau, Niedlingshof, and with this job, I was now becoming a master at selling. I also started teaching waiters in the restaurant how to sell our wine, but also how to make tips. I can teach people how to make tips in a restaurant because of my selling techniques. Because I started buying books, I started learning how to read buying signals. I started learning the sales process. One day I'm going to show you the books that I have for sales. I've got lots of books for sales. And then I started seeing that I'm very good. So I said, what will be my plan for my exit? So the first thing I did was to buy a laptop. So I bought myself a laptop. The second thing that I did, I said, the second thing I did was now to start buying books. So every month when money goes into my account, I go and buy a book. I have got a suitcase of books. Every month when I get paid in my account, I go to CNN, I go to Books Wealth, to buy a book. I will either buy a book or sales. And then also I did research and said, okay, what kind of business, where am I going to do this business? I realized that if I start the business in South Africa, it was going to be very tough, because no matter what industry I was going to go into, they do better. Everybody does better. So for me to just come from a bottom and start a business in South Africa, it was going to be tough. I said, I'm going back home. That's where I'm going to do my business. So every day, I'll go on my laptop to research what kind of business I'm going to do in Malawi. Then one day I just went on Google. I typed the richest people in the world. I discovered that most of them were in property. So I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Malawi and do property business. So I started buying books for property, buying magazines. You know, there's a House and Home. Every edition of House and Home I used to buy. When I came to Malawi here, even in my storeroom, I've got a box of House and Home magazines. I used to buy those House and Home magazines to learn how to flip a house, you know, the bathroom, kitchens, and all that stuff. And I said, okay, if I am going to be in property, when I go home, I need to also be able to know how to build, how to tile, and do all the cabinets. So I started doing in my own home. We had a house which was given to us by the South African government, the RDP house. It was a 5 meter by 5 meter house. I did a section there to do a bathroom. I did it myself. I did the tiling myself. I had to buy a DVD to learn tiling. I also started learning how to do cupboards. So I did the cupboards myself. So I was preparing myself for Malawi while working as a sales rep. And in the meantime, I continued reading the books and reading the magazines. And also, I started using YouTube to learn more about landscaping and all those things. I said, when I go to Malawi, I want to be the best property developer Malawi has ever seen. So I kept on working. I worked for Distel for 1 year. When I was going into the second year, I got some bad news. My manager, Debbie, she was a lady. She came and she called all of us and she said, guys, I'm no longer going to be, this is my last month, I'm no longer going to be your manager. There's another guy is coming, he's going to take over from me. His name is Davi. So, and then everybody was very sad because Debbie was a very good manager. More especially me, I was the saddest because Debbie, you know, treated me like her own child. Debbie was a white lady, but she treated me like I was her own child. Every time she used to tell me, Ted, when you have a problem, come to my office and help me. Sometimes when I'm getting, you know, I must tell you this story. Being a black person and being a sales rep in Cape Town was not an easy thing for me to do, because when I used to go to some restaurants, the managers of those restaurants were not friendly with me. Seeing a black person coming to sell wines, they never gave me so much attention. So I used to go home and say, how am I going to deal with this? Because this is going to affect my sales. If the restaurant manager doesn't like me, he can easily delist my wines from their menu. So what must I do? Now, being a company, my company was related to Distel. It means that I used to know some ladies, the white ladies who were working for Distel, that were sales reps, selling brandy, you know, they were selling the Amaruras, they were selling the Savannas in the same restaurants that I was selling. So what I did, I said, now I need to befriend these white ladies. So I started making friends with them. And then when we are at the office, I'll go to their department. I chat with them. I say, you know that we are going to the same restaurant. They say, Ted, you know, one day we must collaborate. I said, yes, we must collaborate. Then I'll tell them, I say, okay, you know, there's this restaurant, Beruga. I'm fearing to get in there, you know, to get on the side of the manager. And then this lady will say, oh, no, don't worry. Let's meet at such a date. And then we will go and we enter the restaurant, and then the manager is hugging this white lady. Oh, welcome, have a seat. And then she says, meet Ted, he's also my colleague. He's working for Cape Regents, the wines that we've got on the wrist, Amarula and all those wines. He's the sales rep. Then the manager has got no choice but to greet me. Now I have to use my sales skills for that manager to start liking me. So, I'll be, listening to their conversations and championing, come up with, sometimes give some of my skills that I know, like advice and stuff like that. Then by the end of that day, and then I say, okay, I tell this lady, and I said, do you want to, we must have lunch here? And she said, yes, Ted, let's have lunch. And I said, okay. Then we order food. I pay for the food. I'm in. When I'm leaving, the manager is now like, Ted, so when are you going to come again? I said, no, next week I'm coming. Yes, come, let's sit. When you come, what time are you coming? I'm coming at 7 o'clock. Now I'm in. That's how I used to find my way to get into hotels and restaurants. I used to use these ladies who were from the other department in my company. And another thing that helped me also for the managers to like me was when they were having parties. Sometimes they will have customers coming, and then maybe they have another brand of wine that they wanted to sell, and they don't have that brand of wine, but then there's a big party. Then they need some wine. They used to call me. I'll hear the manager, for one hotel in Cape Town calling me and say, Ted, I need 5 cases of the knittings of Sauvignon Blanc. Can you bring it now? I said, I'll bring it now. No matter where I am, I'll drive to the office. At the office, we had a department where they do the dispatch of wines. Everybody there used to know me. The marketing department, everybody used to know me because I knew I had to be friendly with people, because if I need wine quickly, I can just call and say, I'll call them and say, I'm coming. My customer wants 5 cases of Sauvignon Blanc. By the time I arrive there, the cases are waiting for me. I load it in the car, deliver the hotel. The manager of the hotel will be very excited. Ted, nobody does this. Thank you very much. Ted, you must come with your wife and your kids for lunch one day in my restaurant. Oh, it was nice. But now Debbie was leaving us, and then the new manager was coming. And then when the new manager, Debbie gave the new manager our phone numbers so that he can introduce himself. This manager introduced himself to everybody except me. And then one day, before Debbie, because Debbie was serving 1 month notice. One day, every Friday, we used to meet for meeting to talk about the week. So one Friday, Debbie asked me, has David called everybody? And everybody said yes. So I said, no, he hasn't called me. She said, why? I said, I don't know. And then she called him and asked him, David, why you call everybody? You don't call your only black sales rep. And David said, no, I've called him, but he doesn't answer his phone. And then Debbie called me to her office. He said, Ted, David, he said he called everybody. He's been calling you. You don't answer your phone. So I said, Debbie, why would I not answer his phone? I don't even know his phone. So why would I not choose not to answer his phone? She said, that's what I'm also surprised. And then she called him again, and she told him, she said, Ted is saying that you never call him, because why would he not answer your phone call? Because he doesn't know your number. And then the manager was shy, and he called me. He said, Ted, I'm Davi. I'm your new manager. I'll be starting on the 1st and whatever, so I'll meet you. I said, okay, thank you very much. But I knew that I was going to have a very tough time. This was in 2010. So I knew I was going to have a tough time. And then David came to start working with us. It was the most difficult time I've ever had in South Africa. People talk about apartheid. They talk about racial segregation. For the period that I've lived, for 15 years, I lived in South Africa. I've never experienced segregation from a white person. But this was the first time for me to ever experience with Davi. He was a true bull, this man. And he never liked black people. He made my life very, very miserable. There's nothing good for a sales rep like going on your sales call for the whole day with your manager sitting next to you in the car. It used to be, my stomach used to run. You can ask my wife, she can tell you. I started losing weight because of this man. This man made my life very, very, very difficult. And what he did, you on a weekend, he will call me on Sunday. I'll get a WhatsApp message, and you say, Ted, this is David. I want to see you tomorrow morning at work. That's on a Sunday. So early in the morning, I must go straight to work, and I'm like sweating. What did I do? Did I mess up with the customer? Did the customer complain? What did I do? I arrived there. He says, "Are you here?" I say yes. He said, "Okay." Then he will make me sit in the office on the chair while he's working here. I'm just sitting. What's going on? You just be busy. He was a sadist. What do they call sadist? He was a sadist because he could know that I'm getting tortured. And then after that, he says, Ted, you are going to be with me today. Just imagine. And then we go in the car, he sits next to me and he'll be sleeping when I drive. He says, where are you going today? Then I'll tell him, no, I'm going to start with Table View. I'll start with Primi Piatti. After that, I'm going to Cato Baron. When I get to Primi Piatti, I get out. He also get out with me. We walk together, go in the restaurant. When I'm talking to the waiters, to the manager, he just stands. He introduces, this is my manager, Davi, and he says hello. He greets the restaurant manager, and then he will just be following me wherever I go, whatever I'm doing. When I finish with those people, we go back, we sit in the car. Next call, he comes with me. Hey, I'm telling you, hey, this was very, very, very bad. So it kept on going, and he apparently said when he came, he had a goal to get rid of the whole team so that he has got a new team. So in our team, we were 5 people in Cape Town. The company had also another group of people there was one guy who was working for the same company in Neisner. His name was Etienne. He was gay. And this man never liked gay people. So Etienne was gay. And then there was another lady, she was in Port Elizabeth. Her name was Heidi. And then there were some people that were in Durban. So this guy had a plan to fire the whole team. And I told my wife, I said, me, I'm going to get fired. This man is going to fire me. She said, well, how do you know? I said, the way first of all, he never wanted to introduce himself to me. And secondly, he's giving me very, very tough time. And then when he went to Neisner, he gave the same experience that I had, he gave it to Etienne, the gay guy. And this guy could not handle it. So he was the first victim. So one day we just heard that Etienne has resigned. And then Etienne was gone. And we kept on working. And this man started, when he calls me to the office, and he gets very personal with me. And then I told him, I said, Davi, I know that you don't like me. Then he says, Ted, you cannot prove it. I said, I know that I can't prove it, but between you and me, I know that you don't like me. He said, you can say whatever you want, but you can't prove it. So he will be doing these bad things to me and saying a lot of, and the funny thing about it was that every Friday we used to have meetings, and after the meeting, we will all go to a restaurant. We'll choose one sales rep to be responsible to pay for the drinks and everything. And when we go to the restaurant, every time my glass is empty, guess who was filling my glass? Davi. So the rest of the team used to know that Davi is favoring me. But when we are the 2 of us, he was giving me a hard time. It was, when I remember this, sometimes my stomach, it wants to run. This guy was very, very terrible. It was the worst ever in my entire life in South Africa, my worst experience. So I knew I'm not going to last because Etienne is gone. And then who's next? I'm the only black there. So I will be the first victim he must get rid of. We had another lady, her name was Lee Jane. And then we had Heidi. And then there was other 2 ladies in Durban. So after Etienne was gone, the next one to resign was Heidi. Heidi resigned. And I said, wow, now we are slowly going little by little. So it kept on going, going until Regen, the other sales rep who was working in our team, Regen, resigned. So after Regen resigned, it meant that he had gotten rid of all the new people, and then the people that were left were sales reps that had been working for the company for like 4 or 5 years for a long time. So I knew that I was next. I went home, I told my wife, I said, we went to a party to say farewell to Regen, and I am feeling sorry for myself because I know that I am next. And then this is what started happening. I started getting nervous to go to the office. I used to go, I never used to go to the office quite often. I was always in the field. When I get to the office is when I want to go and get wines for the customers and everything. And if I pass by the office, I'll sneak into the sales rep offices, do my thing, and I quickly go. Sometimes he used to know that Ted is there, and he would, when I'm busy doing, I do my things, and I just want to sneak out. I just find him standing on the door. He says, Ted, what do you want here at the office? I said, no, I wanted to get this and what. Oh, okay. By the way, tomorrow, we'll be together again. This was. Oh, thank you, Africa Real Estate. Just subscribe. Thank you very much for subscribing. I don't know how many subscribers we still need. Let me just check now. Let me check. 4,000. Why is it saying 4,950? But it said a while ago 4,000. Okay, let me check from here to see how many subscribers we still need. How many subscribers do we still need? We've got 4,986. we got 14 subscribers before I go to sleep. Please tell your family and tell your friends that they must subscribe. Please tell your family and your friends to subscribe. 4,986. So we are remaining with 14 subscribers. Please. Otherwise, I'm not going to sleep. And also, thank you very much for keep on to listen to my story. And you're keeping me company. And I really appreciate. I know some of you are not in Africa. You are overseas. It must be daytime there. But here at the moment is 12:30 midnight. So yeah, I'm still awake. I'm telling you this story. Now I must continue telling you the story of if each one of you can invite a person, and then I'm out of here. Let me just read what is being said here. It was already in you, Brother Ted. Reading and researching pays off. Trying to explain his behavior here in the States. When people look at you in the eyes and say, this doesn't exist. And then Africa Real Estate said, just subbed. Thank you very much. Justin B says, I've just subscribed. Thank you very much. Forever blessed. If each of us invite one person, he can make it. I just got one person to subscribe. Thank you. The X de facto says, we are here with you, Ted. Thank you very much. Hazel Eugene says, yes, it is 5:30 p.m. here. Yeah, it's daylight there. Yeah, it's midnight. People are busy sleeping. Malawians, they sleep. In Malawi, people sleep sometimes around 7 o'clock. Me, I sleep 2 o'clock every day. And people are sleeping at 7 o'clock. And you know, they say Malawi is the poorest country in the world, but the people go to sleep very early. Imagine. We Malawi shouldn't be sleeping. We should be working. We should be during the day going to work. In the evening, we should be learning to empower ourselves so that we get out of this poverty. You see, but people have been sleeping long time already. And J. Love said, watch from the state It's 6:30 p.m. Wow. Yeah, and then Digital Dress said, "You are a great storyteller. Greetings from St. Louis, Missouri, USA." Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk about Davi, what he did to me. He has gotten rid of Etienne, he's gotten rid of Heidi, and then he's gotten rid of Regen. And automatically, I knew I was next. So I used to dodge going to work most of the times. One day I went to work. I arrived at the gate of the work. I found a security guard. I used to be friends with the security guards at the gate. So the security guard told me, he said, "Ted, where are you going?" I said, "No, I just came to collect wine, but I'll pass at the office quickly." And he said, "Okay, when you go to the office, when you finish, please come. There's something that I would like to chat with you with." I said, "Okay, fine." And these guys at the gate, they were closer guys. So I was very good friends with these guys. And then I went to the office, did my thing, and I came back. Then this guy, he started talking to me. He said, "Ted, how is everything?" I said, "No, everything is okay." He said, "Really? Are you sure everything is okay?" I said, "Everything is okay." He said, "No, I think things are not okay with you." I said, "Why?" He said, "Why don't I see you quite often at the office?" I said, "No, I'm busy." He said, "No, Ted, just be open with me." I said, "No, I'm busy." He said, "No." Well, you know why I'm asking? I'm asking because most of the times I see your manager with the rest of the team. Sometimes they come here and they will go to the office and they come down, they go to the storeroom, then they'll be packing wines and stuff like that and things like that. But I always ask, why are you not there with the team? Everybody is there except you. Why are you not there? So I said, "Really?" He said, "Yes." I said, "I didn't know that my friends do come here and they don't call me." And then he said, "Yeah, that's what I've observed." So I said to him, I can't say much, but yeah, I'm not, things are not good with me. He said, "I can see." And he said, "I want to tell you something, but don't tell anybody." I said, "What is it?" He said, "Me, I work here at the gate, but sometimes when there's nobody at the surveillance room, they ask me to go to the surveillance room. So the other day I was in the surveillance room, and in the surveillance room, and the surveillance being the room where they have cameras. So the company has got a room with a lot of screens. Then the whole premises has got a lot of cameras. And then he said, in the surveillance room, there's a black book. And in that black book, if a sales manager is suspecting somebody of doing something that is not right, they come to us and they tell us that you must monitor this such a person, and you must when he comes here, you must follow him with the cameras, and you must report every activity that person is doing. So they have actually told me, your manager came and he told the guys there in the surveillance that they must be monitoring you. So you must be careful, because at the moment they are monitoring you. Now you can just imagine if it was you, how would you feel? My whole body just felt so cold. I was down. And he said, "Ted, we love you so much because you are a friendly guy, you are an honest guy. But this thing that this manager of yours is doing is not right. So I just told you, but don't tell anybody." I said, "No, I'm not gonna tell anybody." Okay, suggest me a book that is good. Hope you cross 5,000. Love from India. Okay, if you want to manage people, there is a book called Help, I'm a Manager. Let me just write the book. Help, I am a Manager. I can't remember who is the author of this book, but I'm sure if you search it on Google, you will be able to find it. It's a book that when I was getting a job in the casino, before I went to the interview, I had to buy this book and read it. It's a very good book. It teaches you management skills. It teaches you that there are different styles of management. So maybe there's even also what can I say, audio books for this type of version, so you can go. And another thing is also, if you are in sales, if you're selling, you must get this book. It's called Selling with NLP, selling with NLP. Yeah, you can also get a book. It is the book is written by written by John Kerry, I think. Is John Kerry. I might have mistaken, but the author is John Kerry, Selling with NLP. This book teaches you how to read people's eyes. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. So you learn how to see if a person is telling the truth or is telling lies. For those who want to get a girlfriend, you will know if the girlfriend loves you or not. So when you ask a question, a person, if they're telling the truth, their eyes will face to the right most of the times. If they're lying, they will face to the left. When you are asking a question, you ask a question, and if you're thinking about the past, you look to the left and up. If you look into the future, you're thinking about the future, you look to the right but up. So yeah, you learn these kind of things. You know, I've learned so much with the selling when I was working as a sales rep because I read a lot of books. Yeah, so let's finish with this story where Davy was tracking me now at work. So immediately I knew now I am a target. If I make a blunder one day, I could end up getting fired, maybe being accused of stealing. And if I'm not careful, Davy can even plant something to make me lose my job. But at least I now know that Davy is after me. So I started becoming very careful. The first thing that I did, which is a bit nasty, I went to buy myself MP3 player. And every time Davy calls me to his office, I will put it in my pocket and put it on the record. So I recorded all the nasty things that he was saying about me. I had them with me. And I was saying, if he's gonna come for me, I am going to expose him. And that's what I used to do. And maybe one day somebody from my work is gonna watch this, and this is exactly what I was doing. I was getting ready for him. No, sees where Vusi said, I would feel like I was black in America, but blessed that spirit is over. It can no longer exist and also prosper in the new earth and the new heaven. Yeah, that's true. You know, I'm here in Malawi, I'm a free man. You know, when I was in South Africa, I was always aware that I'm a black person. It's the first time I ever realized that I'm black is when I went to South Africa. When I was in Malawi, before I went there, all I knew was I'm a human being. I never see myself as black. I saw myself as a human being until I went to South Africa. In South Africa, sometimes I will be driving the company car. I'll be parking next to the pavement. A white lady is coming that side, on the same side of the pavement. I get out of the car. She sees I'm getting out of this nice car, well dressed, but this lady, she crosses the road because she's afraid of this black man. Sometimes I'm getting out of this car, dressed properly. A white lady is coming, and what she does, she takes, if we are passing each other, and she will take her handbag from this side and put it on the other side. I said, now she thinks I'm going to snatch her handbag. You know, it was the first time that I realized that I'm black. So yeah, it was, you know, it was not, for me, it was not that bad, but just the signals. You know, if I walk in a shop, if there's a white sales rep, when I'm walking through the door, he stands up and he follows me and we meet across before I even get halfway the shop and ask me, can I help you? And then I just say, I'm just looking, then maybe I'll turn around and go. So these are the simple things that I felt. But most of the white people that I worked with, they were very nice, very friendly. The white people that I associated with in wine estates where I worked, they were brilliant. But these experiences, I used to face them when I was in the streets, in places, when I went to these restaurants in the beginning. But at the end of the day, the restaurant managers, they started loving me. So I always found a way to go to get maneuver myself. And one thing that I used to tell myself, I used to say, they can treat me the way they want to treat me, as long as when I go home, my children are going to have a meal, they're going to live a decent life, I can take them to the restaurants. Me, I can face all these things, but when I go home, I need to go home to a happy family. I must take my children to buy them ice cream, to shop for them. So I never, it was a different experience for me, but I knew why I was in South Africa. I had gone there for greener pasture. So I didn't go there to have fun. I didn't go there to be treated well. So I kept on focused on my goal, on things that I was doing, whatever I was trying to do. Yeah. Resignation says, Brother Ted, you are a very wise man. Thank you very much. Thank you. And he says, this is what your brothers has to deal with in the States for many, many years. I know, I can understand. It's not a good thing, because for me, even when I was in South Africa, I didn't experience it much. And I know that the reason why I didn't experience it much is because I was a foreigner. So I was given a little bit of a better treatment because I was a foreigner. Okay, sometimes things will be said and then they forget I'm there. Then they will say, no, Ted, we're not meaning you. We're meaning the South African blacks. We don't mean you. And I will say, but it's very sad that things must be going like that. But yeah, but many times I would experience those things. But the worst experience I had was with Davi. And this guy was on a mission now. He had a list, I'm sure. He got rid of Etienne, he got rid of Heidi, he got rid of Regen. Now I was next on the list. So it kept on going. And then this security guard, he helped me because he gave me this information. And then I started to, and another thing, David wanted to fire me with, I remember there was a day I was driving in the N1. And then suddenly the phone rang while I was driving. And I answered the phone and he said, hi, Ted, it's Davi. I said, hi, Davi, how are you? He said, where are you? Then I said, I'm in the N1. I'm just passing Century City. I'm going to Cape Town. He said, okay, look on the rear view mirror. I'm behind you. When I looked on the rear view mirror, I saw him. And he said, you will make a U-turn. We're going to the office. You will meet me at the office. And I was sweating because, you know, the one thing that I thank God is that in Malawi, when somebody asks you, where are you? Not everybody will tell the truth to say that I am at such a place. Many times people tell a lie. They will say, for example, when I was in Century City, I could have lied and said I'm in Sea Point. So in Malawi, people, when they tell this kind of lies, they take them easy. It's like a simple lie. I don't have to worry about. But in South Africa, if you tell a simple lie, you get fired immediately. And if this day I had lied to Davi, so thank God I never lied. In South Africa, I realized you don't tell a lie. So for the rest of my life, I discovered that I had to learn that you have to always tell the truth. And I had learned this in the casino. If you tell a lie, it doesn't matter how small a lie is. If they ask you in the casino, which area are you? And if you say, I'm in area 1 on the floor and you are in the kitchen, you get fired. So in South Africa, they don't tolerate lies. And Davi was asking me deliberately, he wanted me to lie. Because I knew about this because in Johannesburg, this company had another team in Johannesburg. They had their own sales manager. And there was a guy, a black guy, his name was Gift. He was a South African guy. I think he was Tswana or Zulu. And this guy, I don't know. I remember one day we went to Durban and we were in the hotel. And they put the two blacks together. So me and him, we were together in the hotel, in the room. And when in the morning, when we were packing to leave, he told me, he said, Ted, if you want, you can help yourself to the bath towels. I said, which bath towels? He said, this bath towels here. I said, but this belongs to the hotel. He said, no, the hotels, you can take the bath towel. Each hotel that I go, when I leave, I pack the bath towels and I take them. And I said, no, the bath towel belongs to the hotel. It doesn't belong to you. He said, no, me, I'm going to take. I said, but me, I'm not going to take. So Gift folded the bath towel, he put it in the bag, and then we left. So when I went home, I told my wife, I said, hey, Gift, this guy, he took a bath towel from the hotel. This guy one day is going to get in trouble. And I said, he doesn't know that what he's doing. The hotel can come and look in the room and find that the bath towel is missing. They can report to the management and say, there was in room society, there was a guy who was there. There's maybe two guys that were there, a bath towel missing. He would never know that every time they go out on the trips, and he does that. Maybe the hotels, they report to the company, and the company would later discover that he is a thief. Because if the hotel can report the first time, they might think maybe the hotel something, they misplace it. But if it happens like the second time, then the company will realize that Gift is a thief. So in this team, also Gift was the only black person in the team there in Johannesburg. So his boss wanted to fire him. It looks like his boss and my boss, they were communicated, let's get rid of these black guys. So they wanted to fire Gift. So what they did, they said, they called them all in the meeting, and they said to them, okay, from now onwards, we're giving you books where you should be logging. Whenever you're driving the company car, everywhere you go, you need to be logging in the logbook. So they gave him, then they made him sign to say that this is a procedure that you should be following, and everybody signed in the team. You must remember, Gift was the only black person in the team. So Gift, one day he used to, from work, he would pick his wife, and then he would take a different direction. Let's say, for example, he's working in Johannesburg CBD, and his wife is working in other area, like, I don't know, Johannesburg, Braamfontein, and then maybe he works in the other side of Johannesburg. So he would take and drop his wife. So from dropping his wife, then he would be going to the area that he was working. He's supposed to write in his book that I started off in the morning such time. I went to Braamfontein, dropped my wife. From Braamfontein, I went to this area. I went to, like myself, when I finish the day, I have to record all the places, the restaurants, hotels that I visited in that day. So Gift, what he did, he wrote in this book, but he wasn't writing when he goes to drop his wife. He didn't write that. He just write like he came from home, he goes to work to do his work. So end of the month, the boss asked for everybody's reports. Obviously, they wanted to fire him, and that's why they did it this way. So they brought his book, and then they did at vehicle tracking of his vehicle, and then they put it on the desk and said, Gift, why didn't you record? What were you doing in that area? He said, no, I was dropping my wife. He said, but why were you recording? So he got fired. So me, I didn't know it's global. What Jerry said, it's global. Yeah, so me, I didn't know that Gift was fired because I just heard that he was fired. I didn't know that he was fired because of that. So for me to realize this, one day I was writing the books. There was a day that we went, me and my family, we decided to go to Stellenbosch to a restaurant. So we went to the restaurant, and then we came back. It was on a weekend, on a Sunday. And then we used a company car. So I came home. So me, I had the logbook in the car. So when I get home, I sit in the car. Everybody, my wife, the kids are gone. I write down. We went to, and the marriage. They wanted you to put that as marriage. So I did that. And then at the end of the month, my boss wanted us to make a report with all those trips that you make. And then what did he want? He wanted you to type it on a computer and give it to him. So me, I started transferring everything from my book, and I put it on the newspaper, and then I went to deliver to Davy, give the report. You do your monthly reports plus your vehicle reports, and then I gave it to him. And now, what we used to do, that we had entertainment allowance. So if I get my entertainment allowance, you use entertainment allowance, you use your own money. But at the end of the month, you have to take the receipts from the restaurant, you pin them together. You say you went to this restaurant and that restaurant, and then you pin everything, you give to the manager. So he has to check everything, tick, 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 and then he fills a form application for your reimbursement of your funds, and then he takes it to the accounting department. And then after 3 days, you just see a message that your money has been refunded back into your account. This particular month, the month ended. I never got my reimbursement. I said, did Davi forget? We started the next month. First week passed, nothing. Second week passed, I said, no, I need to gather my strength to go and ask for my money. So this day, I started off, I went to Davi's office. And then I entered, he was busy with something, and he just looked up, he saw me coming in, I sat down, he just went down, and he left me sitting there. He didn't even greet me. And he did his thing, and he looked up and said, hey, Ted, what can I do for you? So he knew automatically where I came from. So I said, no, Davi, I came here, I see I haven't got my money for the entertainment allowance yet. He said, oh, yes. He opened the drawer, he pulled out my report and he threw it to me. And he said, Ted, on your report, I see that on such a Sunday, he asked me, he said, on the report, I see on your request, there's a receipt that you had a meal at a restaurant in Stellenbosch. I said, yes. He said, okay, you went to that restaurant in Stellenbosch? I said, yes. And he said, on your vehicle report, I am seeing that you didn't fill it in on your vehicle report. Why didn't you fill it in? So I said, I started, sweat coming down. I could feel the cold, chilly sweat coming down my stomach, going down into my pants. I said, now he got me. This is the day that I am going to get fired. I said, I don't know. Then I looked at the thing and I see, yes, I didn't type it on the thing. I said, no, but I always write in my thing. He said, okay, so what are you going to do? I said, I must go and check in my logbook in the car. He said, you can go. I'm here, I'm waiting. You got all the time. He actually went, you got all the time. Go and take it. When I went, my stomach was running. I was almost going to the toilet. I said, this is the day I'm going to get fired. I said, I'm going to get fired for lying for a simple thing as not registered in the logbook. I went in the car, brought out my logbook, moved fast to the date. I checked. I had written it in my logbook. I just went, oh, God, thank you, God. I took my logbook, I went there, I just opened it, I threw it on the desk. I said, there it is. And he said, oh, okay, all right. Then he's signing the application for my entertainment allowance. He signed and he said, you're gonna go and deliver it yourself. Then I took it, I went to the account, I delivered it. I went home, I told my wife I was getting fired today. Hey, I'm telling you, I used to think and say, how am I going to survive this? This I'm not going to survive. So one day, Davi, it's now almost 5 minutes to 1. Wow, it's getting late. And dogs are barking outside. So if there's thieves moving around, they know that this guy is a workaholic. He's working in his workshop today. So this day, it was a weekend. I got a message in my phone. At this time, there was a conflict going on between black people and white people in South Africa. It was all over, and black people were sending WhatsApp messages to each other, about the white people, like kill the Boers or kill the farmers or something like that. And the white people were sending each other messages. And then Davi sent a message to me. It was like a forward. He forwarded a message for me. And the message read as follows. According to Top Gear, a minibus, when it passes at that place, it was called Africana Free State. It is in Kimberley, between Kimberley and Johannesburg. There is a town that is for it's like almost like a homeland for the Afrikaners. So he said, according to according to Top Gear, a minibus, when it passes at the Africana Foxtrot, it is driving at 250 kilometers an hour, which means what he meant was, because black people, they always say in South Africa, kill the Boer, kill the farmer. And the white people, they say in revenge, they're one Boer, one minibus. So if you kill a white person, they're going to bomb a minibus and kill 14 people at one time. So he meant that the minibus that is passing through they are afraid of the white people, so they're driving at 250 kilometers an hour. So this message, he sent it to his fellow white people, and then he CC'd it to me. So when I read this message, I started sweating, and I said, wow. So this man hates me to a point where he's now using his hate thing that he has for black people. Also, he's now doing it to me. So I told my wife, I said, no, this is now the time for me to leave this company. Because if I leave myself, it means that I will leave with a good record, because the human resources department will know that Ted left by himself. If I get fired, I will never get a job again in South Africa. It will be difficult for me to get a good job. So I have to leave. This is now my time to leave. So that year, what I did, I had saved some money. I asked for leave. And then I flew to Malawi. I bought a house that I wanted to renovate, that I must sell. I just bought this house and did some extension on it and came back to South Africa. So now I have put an investment in Malawi. I'm preparing for the day that I'm going to resign. So I said, no, this message that Davy sent me, I need to show him that what he's done is wrong. So I said, what must I do? What must I do? So what I did, I went to the bookshop to go and look for a book for conflict management. So I went there, I browsed through the books, and I happened to touch a book which was saying The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And I said, let me buy this book. I went home, I started reading this book. In that book, there was a statement that said, The Art of War says, do not take advantage of the weak. Because I can't remember what else it was, but it was talking about you must not take advantage of the weak, because the weak, when they want to fight, it's like the situation of Ukraine. Russia is attacking Ukraine. Ukraine is weak, and they know already that we don't have any choice. For us, we have nothing to lose. So when you are fighting with somebody who has got nothing to lose, you are going to get hurt. And that's why you're seeing what's happening there in Ukraine, that Russia is getting it tough, because the Ukrainians have got nothing to lose. And this was what I was trying to show him, that if he continues this, he is going to lose so much, because he will lose a big job. And for me, I can lose a job. I'm a black person who is used to struggling. I can go struggle, I'll get by. But he's going to lose a lot. So I replied to the same message that he sent me, and I forwarded it to all his friends. And then I just said, I put that statement, and at the bottom I said Sun Tzu, The Art of War. And then at the bottom I said archived, letting him know that I have saved this message, meaning that if he ever does anything to me, I'm going to go to prove to the company with the audio that I had for him and this email to say that he was a racist. And Distel had a policy whereby if you are found to be with racism, you get fired. So I sent it back to him. That Monday, when I get to home, in the morning, I got a phone call. Hello, Ted. I said, hello, it's Davy. Can you come to the office? I said, okay, I'm coming. I arrived at the office. Davy was very happy. Come to the office, Ted. How's life? I said, fine. How was the weekend? I was good. Sit down. He said, Ted, about the message, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that and whatever. Please forgive me. I said, okay, David, I forgive you. He said, you forgive me? I said, yes. He said, okay. Would you like some wine? I said, yes, I would like some wine. So he took me to the storeroom. My car's boot was full of cases of wine. I went home. I was stuck in my storeroom, cases of wine he gave me for free. He said, no, you can have parties with your friends if you like and whatever. You know, Ted, don't worry. But then he shook my hand and he said, it's over. I said, it's over, David. And after that, everything was very, very calm. And it didn't last long. After 3 months, David started again. I told my wife, I said, this man, he has forgotten about those things. I even told him that I've kept that conversation. He's starting again. And then one day, you know, he started calling me. We must be in the car to go to visit customers. And he used to do it on Sundays, and he shifted. He started doing it on Saturday. He will send me a message on Saturday, Ted, Monday, we're together. That means my whole weekend is ruined. When Sunday comes, when it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my stomach used to run. I used to go to the toilets, my stomach running, you know, because I used to know that any time this man can find a fault and he can fire me. And then I said, more and more, I started losing interest in the company. I started now focusing more about Malawi. How can if I go to Malawi, how am I going to do it? Until one day, Davi sent me a letter, an email. He said to me, Ted, on Monday, I want to see you at the HR. So I said, this is it. What did I do this time now? So I said to myself, no matter what is happening at the HR, this is my last month to work. It was December 2010. I told my wife, I'm resigning. So I took my laptop. I wrote a letter that I've decided that I'm resigning. I'm not going to work for the company anymore because of my personal reasons. I need to go back home to my country. So for that reason, I'm resigning. Thank you very much for the opportunity you gave me and all those nice things. And then I took that letter, put it in the envelope, and then Monday I went to the HR department. So we went there. The HR manager's name was Sunet. And then I got inside. Sunet started speaking, said, oh, I forgot about my gratitude. I'm so excited. I'm no longer feeling hungry. Wow, I need to drink a little bit. Yeah, so Sunet said, Ted, you know, it's not a serious thing we are calling you about. It's called poor work performance management. So your boss is complaining that your area is not doing well. So we need to go through a process of poor work performance so that we can see how you can improve with your work and stuff like that. I know you are a hard worker and stuff, but you know the company, they need sales and other stuff. So we need to do this, Ted, unfortunately. So I said, okay, fine. So I said, Sonet, I don't want to waste your time. In fact, I've already made a decision. We don't have to do this. I am resigning. So I pulled out my envelope and I gave it to her. Sunet was almost in tears. He said, Ted, this is not something that you should, it's not a serious thing, Ted. It's just that we will actually help you to improve. I said, no, Sunet, I am resigning. She said, why? Ted, what's going on? I said, Sunet, I want to tell you in front of Davi, this man is a racist. The way this man has been treating me, you can't believe how he's been treating me. When we are together, he's very nasty with me, but in front of everybody, he's always very friendly and very nice, very nice. And then she said, no, Ted, you know, why don't we resolve this and what? And then she said to Davi, you know, Davi, I think Teddy's got some issues. Can you leave us alone so that I can speak to him? So David said, "Oh, no problem, no problem." And he went outside. But when I said that I've resigned, I could see him, like going, now he has achieved it. I am actually resigning, just like Etienne, just like Heidi, just like Regen, and then me. And then he went outside, and then Sunet said, "Ted, what is it?" I was over 40 years of age. I cried in that office like a baby. Tears came out of my eyes. I was crying and crying and crying. Sunet started crying. She was, I don't know whether she was white, but she was almost like white, but maybe she was a mix. But Sunet was crying in tears. She said, "Ted, why are you crying? You're making me cry." I said, "Sunet, I have experienced the worst racism in my life. I've never experienced." She says, "Tell me, what is it?" Then I took that letter, the email. I said, "Read this." And she read it. She said, "Oh, did you do this?" I said, "Yes." And I said, "You know what? I've even got audio for this, the things that he was saying to me and doing." She said, "You got audio?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I've got a lot of proof of things that he has done." She said, "No, Ted, don't resign. Why don't we take this matter further?" I said, "Sunet, I didn't come here to make somebody lose their job. Me, I've made up my decision. I will leave Davi the way he is. He will get his day in the future." He said, No, Ted, you can't leave this. Let's take this thing further." I said, "Sunet, leave it. Just forget me. I'm quitting. I've made up my..." She said, "But Ted, you must have gone through a lot." I said, "I went through a lot." She said, "Okay, fine. Let's call Davi." Now, Davi, she told Davi to come in. He just came in and just sat, and he said to Sunet, "Sunet, I don't know what you've discussed with Ted. Whatever you've discussed, I have also made up my mind. If he wants to retract his resignation, I'm not going to, I've accepted his resignation." And then Sunet just looked at Davi and she said, "In fact, Ted is not going to pull back his resignation. He's really going." He said, okay. And then she said, "I'm sorry, Ted, that this is like this and stuff like that. Okay, Davi, Ted has given us a 1 month notice." It was in the month, it was on the 1st of December. He actually planned it on the 1st. That means end of that year, maybe I would have been gone. He would have fired me. So I saved my notice 1 month. They did a party. He was very happy, telling the team, "Oh, Ted, wishing you all the best." They took me to a restaurant to feed me. He was so happy. And my team didn't know what happened. Nobody at Distel knew what happened. Even up to now, they will know now if they are going to watch this. There might be somebody who worked there who's watched this, and that person is going to make the people to watch this, and then this will be the first time people will know what I went through. And I remember there was a time that he almost got me fired because he wanted me to miss an induction, because Distel, all the new staff, they make them go for induction. He wanted me to miss the induction. And I was talking to Mark, one of the sales rep, and I said, "Look what he's doing." And Mark says, "He can't do that to me. If that man can try to make me lose my job," Mark was a white guy. "If he can try to make me lose my job, he will go down with me." So I left. So I heard that after me, there was Marius, also a sales rep. He went. And I don't know what happened to Mark. I don't know what happened to Serena, because there were the 3 people left. So every time he was bringing his own people. But Marius was fired. They found him stealing. He found him stealing. Then a few last year, when I asked, "Where's David?" they told me he also got fired. He was found stealing. So I think it could have been Mark who made him lose his job, because maybe after Marius, he was going for Mark. Because Mark told me, if he's going to fire me, we are all going to go down. So that's how I left Distel. And December, end of the month, I got my Provident Fund money. I packed my goods, my stuff in my vehicle. I came down to Malawi. I don't know, something happened to the lights. Let me ask you at home to find out. Because I'm using solar, so anytime my power can go off because I'm using these lights and whatever. So yeah, I need to find out in the house what's going on there. Yeah, you have to excuse me because in the night it's late and anything can happen. So I need to find out what's going on. Hello, are you still awake? Okay, try to switch off the solar light outside. Oh, okay, all right. How much volts that is it showing? Oh, okay. It seems like outside there's a neighborhood watch. They're walking outside. Shelly? Hello? Can you peep outside if you see people with reflectors? I think it's neighborhood watch people. Let me just quickly switch off the light. I'll be back. I just want to check what's going on. Oh, it's neighborhood watch. Neighborhood watch. Oh, all right. Banshito. Tapelani. Tafika. Yeah. Okay, Tafika Ngongu introduce. Yeah. Oh, hello. Yeah, it's late in the night. We have neighborhood watch here, and they are here. Come. This is our neighborhood watch. So they were passing here. Yeah? Yeah, neighborhood watch. Yeah, when I send weapon, yeah. That's his weapon. Thank you very much. Peace and open the meeting. Yeah, so Banshito. Alikunja alikuwa America, America, all over the world. Ooh. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah, thank you. Toji that I only can Toji. I only can. Okay. Yeah, people want to. Yeah, let's go. Takuja nitwi. Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, that was our neighborhood watch coming around. We pay every month and they will move around. This is like 1:15. Yeah, so I gave them something also to just, appreciate what they're doing. So they are the guys who are keeping us safe in this area. Yeah. The good and the bad and the ugly. Yeah. So that's what happened. That's how I quit my job to come back to Malawi. I found myself jumping into the unknown world. If you haven't subscribed, please, I need to go and sleep. Please subscribe. Let me check how many subscribers I have now. Let me check. Wow. I'm remaining with 10 subscribers. Please. Only 10. Wow. You know, me, I love to achieve. You know, when I put my mind to something, I want to achieve, and I'll never give up. And I must thank you for subscribing to my channel. I am promising to give you content, and my content is going to be of quality value. I want to give you content similar to Wodemaya. I want you to learn from my experience, and some people, they will learn from my experience. I'm going to be sharing the best quantity you have ever had. And most of it is going to be related from my experience. I had a fantastic life. I don't know why I'm not a billionaire today, but I had a fantastic life. In South Africa, it was a roller coaster, lots of opportunities. I can't lie to you. The moment in South Africa I got myself my permanent residence, I've never struggled anymore in South Africa. I used to get good jobs, like the ones that I've told you. I lived a very good life. I had so many friends. So yeah, and then I left over a sudden. Before, I didn't actually plan it. I quit my job. I came back to Malawi, jumped into a unknown world, but I faced the bull and I transformed my life. When I came, if you look at my profile, just check in 2011, 2010, go to my Facebook, and if you can scroll down to 2010, you will see that when I was making this journey, coming here, and how I started here in Malawi, and how I started building my house. Go to my page, Pamuzi Property Investment, and see my projects that I did in Malawi. When I came back to Malawi, I knew Malawi was going to be very easy for me, because South Africa had equipped me with integrity, passion, and also vision. Something that I learned in South Africa, I was lucky to work with a lot of Western people. They showed me that a person needs to be always honest all the time. And if you are an honest person, you will never struggle in your life, and you need to have passion. So if you love what you're doing, there's no way you're going to suffer. And you must have a vision. You must know where you're going, and you must have a plan of where you're going. And then you must be able to set goals. You have to learn how to set goals. When I quit this job, when I was coming, my vehicle was full of stuff. I had bought everything that I needed to renovate my house. So when I came here, I just renovated my house, and within a month, I sold my house. And what I did, I made use of Facebook, because I shared the journey and the experience on Facebook. And it helped me to have Malawian diasporas, watch what I was doing. And I became their projects. They were selecting me to do their projects, because they knew that I did understand what the challenges that they face, and they also understood what they wanted. So if they tell me, Ted, I want you to go and do an open plan kitchen for me, I knew what they were talking about. I am the one who introduced in Malawi open plan settings in houses. And also, I brought in so many landscaping ideas, so many ideas that people use in their houses. I am the one who brought the flat roof system of building in Malawi. So, but it was not easy in the beginning. If you go to my Facebook profile from 2011 up to 2013, you will see that my life, I was very thin. I had lost weight. I was struggling. Malawi was giving me, like the bitter of it. And I didn't come with money. So the only money I managed to get, although I had some provident fund, but the money that I managed to get was when I started selling my houses. My business, when I came back, was in property development. I was here to buy and sell houses. So I renovated this house and I sold it, and I bought a second one. And what I did, every step of the construction, I shared it on Facebook. It's there on Facebook. You will see the houses. There was one of the houses that's very, very ugly. If you search it, you'll see it. Let me read what people are saying also. Yes, can't wait. Great story, my brother. Big up from Canada. Eugene says yes, and Matt Green says, really appreciate your integrity and approach to life. Greetings from Philadelphia. Greetings to you. Please check when you see I've got 5,000 subscribers. Please let me know, because I think it's now 21 minutes past 1. I need to go and sleep. So please let me know. So yes, Malawi was the big, and I wish I had made this decision to come to Malawi much earlier, when I was still much younger. I think if I could have made this decision when I was in my early 30s, I think I would have been very far. But anyway, this is what happens in life. We regret our decisions later on. That's why I try to push the young people to fix their lives while they're still young. Because if they don't do, that's when we end up, when we grow up, regretting. You know, there is some times that I regret, for starting late, but I don't regret my life. I never, in South Africa, if I never left South Africa, more especially when I was in the casino, I left the casino because of some other reasons. Me and my wife were working together. If I had never left the casino, I think I would have been a big guy in South Africa. Maybe I would have been one of the general managers for the casino, because I was doing well. When I left, they were about to take me on a training for management trainee program. So in South Africa, I would have excelled, but there were so many challenges. Sometimes in the future, I'll share those challenges that I faced in South Africa. But so far, my life was good in South Africa. I met wonderful people. I met lots of good friends. I can leave today and go to South Africa. I won't stay in a hotel. I'll have a place to stay for as long as I can stay. That's how much relationships I built in South Africa. So that's why you see on my channel, because some of you are going to be surprised or wonder why sometimes I'm using topics where I say how to start a business, for South African young South Africans. I wanna give back to the young South Africans in appreciation for their government allowing me to stay in their country, and for the people in South Africa looking after me. So you will always see, sometimes I will share things for our young South African guys who want to be entrepreneurs. If God allows me, one day I want to open a hub in South Africa for training youth, how to do welding. The things that I do here, I want to do that in South Africa. I hope that my brothers and sisters in South Africa are going to embrace me. They're not going to think that I'm coming there to take their job, but I would like to give back. That's what I would like to do. Yeah, but Malawi was the best decision that I made. I realized, the money that I make here, when I was working for Distel, I was getting good money. I left when I was getting something like over 15,000 rands. But the money that I've made in Malawi can never match what the money that I've made in Malawi the money I was making in South Africa cannot match what I've been making in Malawi. I mean, this is the first time that my business is now going for a dip. But the moment my business started escalating, we have done some good business. You can actually see yourselves when I show you the videos, the transformation that has happened on these premises. My team, they've earned money. I think on average, my team, my guys, they earn not less than 1.5 million a year. Yeah, some of them, they can come close to 2 million a year. That's how much my welders earn. That's why one of my welders has been able to build a house for himself. Now he's even built also 2 houses that he wants to be renting out. So he's got a shop. He started a shop, and he also saves money with us. We are saving a good amount of money for him. He wants to buy a bicycle so that he can start a bicycle taxi. So good things are happening in Malawi for my team and for myself. So I wouldn't want to be anywhere else other than Malawi. Although I would like to expand my horizons, and I can also go to South Africa, start something. I want to go to Gambia, West Africa, whether it's Gambia, to do something. I want to go to East Africa, do something. I hope it's going to happen. I'm going to work with you guys. we're gonna collaborate and we do something. So I'm open. I'm all yours. Yeah. So how many subscribers do we have now? Let me see. 4,992. Guys, you're killing me, man. Huh? You guys, you're killing me. We need 8 subscribers. We just need 8 subscribers. Please tell your wife to subscribe and your daughter to subscribe. Please. We need 8 subscribers. I'm sure if I get to 5,000 subscribers, YouTube is going to send me a message because it's actually a milestone. So yeah. End Time Youth Rising says, watching from UK. Thank you very much. Welcome to Block 929. Welcome to Black Note. If you are just coming in, you have missed my long story, and I hope that you go through it and you're going to read it. Nosizwe Vusi says, I'm curious, do you believe the land in Malawi is conducive for good tasting wine or winery? The earth, the wind is similar to South Africa, or what would you compare? No, Malawi, we can't grow grapes for wine because the grape for wine prefers the Mediterranean climate. So if you are in South Africa, from when you pass Polokwane, there's a place where there's a sign that says the end of Tropic of Capricorn, I think. Yeah, that line, when you draw that line, when you jump over that line going to Johannesburg, you are now in the Mediterranean area. So as you are going down to Cape Town, the climate is almost like, I don't know, it's like Mediterranean climate. The grapes, they like cold places that gets cold, and also they don't want water, moisture during the time that the berries are coming out. So in December, in Cape Town, it's dry, so there is no rainfall. In Malawi, in December, November, it's raining. So we can't grow grapes. We can grow grapes in Malawi, like table grapes, like the ones that the honey pot, the one you buy in the restaurant and the supermarket to eat. You can grow those grapes, but the way you do it, you build a grass house, yeah, or greenhouse. So you grow them there. So you will be controlling the moisture that you want them to be exposed to. But also greenhouse, because it's greenhouse, the grapes like heat. If you go to Cape Town in the periods of October, November, December, it's very, very, very hot. So the grapes loves that. What makes the grape to be sweet is actually this heat. The grape uses the heat to do a process of producing sugar. So the sugar in the grape comes from the heat. Now, if you come to Malawi, yes, we have heat in December, November, December, January, it's hot, but we have rainfall. So what will happen is while the grapes are trying to produce the sugar, it rains, the roots are going to suck the water, and then they're going to dilute the sugar. So you won't have good grapes. Unless you must cover the grapes into a grass house. Now, for you to do a greenhouse for grapes to make wine, a bottle of wine, there's almost 1 kg of grapes. So you can just imagine. So for you to make wine worthwhile, it will need a big vineyard. And now for you to cover that whole big vineyard in a grass greenhouse, it will be very expensive. So that's why you don't see people doing wine around the equatorial areas. Yeah. Okay. I will link with you when I have a lot of money. Please. Joy Ogeri says, Ted, you are wise and practice the Ubuntu spirit. Asante.